各位亲爱的网友朋友，大家好。
Hello everyone.
今天来到了观世音菩萨保佑我第6天的课程。
Today we are at the Guanyin Bodhisattva's protection chanting class, the 6th day.
经历了这几天的给大家讲授有一个感慨。
For me, after the teaching these few days,
在这一天大脑之中的有一个
I suddenly have this thought.
就是人这一生之中有多少项问题
Actually, in
有
our
多少项重要
life,
的问题
there are so many questions that we face,
去拥有或者需要去做好，而且必须要做的。
so many things that we have to do,
什么健康、
and it will
幸福、
impact
安全、
our
生
life.
命等等的我们分析一下
So let's try to analyze.
第一个就是健康，
Firstly, is health,
还有什么职业？
your career.
工作就是太贫穷了也不行，虽然活着是吧？
Yes, indeed. We want to have good health, but what is important is that you need to have some basic financial means to provide for your daily necessities.
所以正常的经济收入
So I think it's important to have
做呗，
some savings,
还有
希望成个家吧。
对呀，
or maybe some they may want to have a relationship,
长大成家了，
不是
or they may
是
want
一
to
个人光棍儿活着了。
they want to have a partner, a life partner.
是不是？
对对
对
对，
But actually, it's not easy
搭档
to have a life partner, to find a suitable life partner.
找一个好的配偶婚姻，
是
这个事儿严重吗？
Indeed, that is the other questions that we may face.
当今的
to
歌曲
have
全
a
世界
suitable
数不清那么多
partner.
歌曲，对不对？99%全是歌颂爱
Just
情。
look at the music that we have, the songs that we have, the popular songs. At least 90% relates to love
不管是爱
or
好也好，
relationship.
期盼也好，反正都属于感情相关，对不对？
So they are mostly related to emotion.
那接下来呢，就是生不生娃的问题。
And after that is the questions of whether you want to have a kid. It's the decision whether to have a kid.
不是人多问题，而是生育问题，好吧？
是生孩子嘛，
人以为说你多找几个的问题，
那不可能了。
不可能所以什么都有可能对吧？
对
你看又是生育问题，
嗯，
生下来呢，
So after when you have a child, what happens next?
上学什么健康
You need to go to
第
school,
二个得吃
and then you need to make sure that the child is healthy. You need to make sure that the child has adequate food and clothing, and you need to provide lodging.
对呀，
他的第一个就是健康，
So indeed, once you have a child, there are so many questions that you have to deal with.
学业
So from the physical
学校也
health
挺可恨哈
to even going
好的
to
学
school.
校好的私立学校
So if you want to
然后
go
进去的话
private
要
school,
很多条件，对不对？
there are a lot of
本来
requirements to
家
get
长就
in.
完成不了这些条件，
A lot of time it may be tough for parents to fulfill those
这
requirements.
小孩生下来就得到优良的教育，这个需要一个强大的经济背景，对不对？
So in order to provide good educations for the
多数的孩
children,
子得不到
you
更
have
优
to
质
make sure that the parents
有时候你
have
懂
the
不懂事
financial means.
能不能成为一个知识分子，很艰难。
So it is
有
a
这样
long
在乡下山里
process.
干活，你们家很难出知识分子，
So if your family is already a farmers,
对不对？
your parents are farmers, it is very difficult for the kids to be successful, to be a scholar.
你有条件吗？第一个
You
就是
may
经济条
have
件
the intention to
经济
groom
条
the
件解
kids,
决了之后
but firstly, do you have the
你
financial
的孩
means?
子真正的教育问题。
It is only when you have the financial means that you'll be able to deal with the education's problem.
上挑学校啊，挑幼儿园。
Yes, you have to pick the right kindergarten. You have to go to the good universities. And when it's go to from when you go becomes adolescents, you have different issues as well.
青春期各种的幻觉，各种的诱惑
A lot of youth are faced with a lot
各种
of
的无知
对，
desire,
无知妄想
or
与
they
现实的
have
冲撞
so they have a lot of
前面咱说这些孩子问题
unrealistic
都属于
dreams or unrealistic
因为家长好头疼
expectations. And as a result, they have a lot of conflicts with their
一
parents.
长大之后，全家都恨他，这没办法。
We have heard from
教
our
育不到怎么
previous
对待他
sharing that some
是
parents
吧？光哄
they
着
have
他
very
明白
difficult childs to
我
deal
光骂
with.
他，他要跳楼，这可怎么办呢？
是
就是还有，我觉得整个人生过程中，他就不断的在追求一种 迷幻一般的幸福感。
Also, I think some people are just pursuing a dreamy world.
子女教育问题，对不对？
是
再接下来的就可能
So yes, we
你的
talk
婚姻
about the
实际问题
children's educations, and then the
那所有
next
的结
steps
了
will
婚的
be
人都有
marriage.
一个婚姻能否
Because
长久
whether the marriage will be
不是一结婚
successful,
生
it
了
is
孩子
not
就是万事
confirmed.
大吉了，对不对？
It doesn't mean that they will
是吧？
be happy forever. No, not
这个
necessary.
变这个妇女
From a
再到
fine
甚至
lady
变泼妇
to a lady,
哎
and
最
they
开
may
始就是不留
change
情面了
to a
该
very
干啥该妖魔妖精的相都露出来了，
like a
哎
like a
婚姻
demon's
实际问
lady,
题有掺
demon
杂
wife
对不对
or a wife that has very bad tempered.
一个是养老问题，
And next, we're talking about retirement. So there are other issues relating to
使我
retirement.
们这个人本
So
身
as you can see, at
经历的
different
这些
stage of our life, we have to
比如说
face with
经济问
different
题必须要
issues.
解决
So
否则
maybe
这
for
个死事儿
some,
吧
they need to deal with, they need to first of all deal with their financial.
然后是创业呀，还是自己
So, for
还是
example,
这个
those who are looking for
事业呀，
career, they may be thinking whether they want to work for others or if they want to start on their own to be an entrepreneur. And also, in terms of looking for the suitable career, they need to find the right
两个人
path.
成家以后哈，我们说正常的情况下，比方说上面就要赡养4位老人家了，那同时这个4位老人家就要面临养老和健康的问
And
题。
also, when two persons get married,
发现
they are also faced with taking care of 4 old folks,
这个两个
the parents of both parties.
是最需要他们投入的。
So,
对4
this
位老人
point,
的赡养
when they are taking care of themselves, when they have to take care of the parents, the aged parents, it is actually you need a lot of care, attentions, and even finance.
其实都是就是中间一代的年轻夫妻要
So it becomes the.
你说的特别好哈，我们现在不细节这个问题。
So we will not talk this in further details, but at least you can see that at different stage of your life, it is not easy for you to fulfill
先从孩子出生
the
妈妈
objective.
想生你就是
Say,
不怀
for
孕
example, some who like to have kids,
他没有这么
but
一
some
个
parents are difficult
优
to
质的土
conceive.
壤就是小
Maybe
种
because
少
they
了
are
但是
not
没用
fertile, like they have
就是
seeds,
不长
but
苗
it just
啊
doesn't
不怀
grow,
孕是
doesn't
吧
germinate.
哎，急人嘛，你说。
Are you worried
哎
of
结
that?
了婚之后，你说5年不怀孕，对不
So
起啊，
if you're married for 5 years and you have no
谁也没用。
offspring, you will be worried.
哎医生呢看的
So
快半都不
they
理你
may
了
see the
你的孩子
doctors,
还没生出来
but the child is still not born.
这一
Are
急
you
就
worried?
急出病来
Yes, when you're
而
worried,
本
you
来
start
比
to
如说
have
是女的有问
disease.
题结果看了半天生育的医生吧，最后说男的也有问题。
Actually, they thought it's the
反正没有
problem with the
没有
girl,
生出孩
with
子
the
就
with the
无法繁
woman.
衍
And after that, after seeing various doctors, they say that the problems may be with the husband, and then they may start to take
就
different
是没
medications.
有问题就
After
变成
taking medications,
对吧？
from no
好，再接
no
下来就
disease, you may end up
孩
having
子
some
生
form
了
of disease. Okay, if you eventually end up with a
接下来
child.
就是一个养育问题。
So next is how do you
生
nurture
孩子当
the
然不
child.
着急，可是光为了生孩子就耽误工作了，没工作了，
But to have the child, you stop working.
你说经济重不重要？
So what happens to your financials? Or you may spend a lot of money try to conceive. And when you have the baby, you realize that you need to pay a lot for milk powder and other expenses.
说医药贵，房子也非常贵。
Actually, medical cost is
这
high.
么多的问题压在我们这个身上，
Accommodations or even the cost to have a roof
这老天
is
造
also
人
very
我
high.
们从妈妈肚子生出来之后，都是哇哇的大哭呀。
So the moment when we are born, we
生到这儿
start
来
crying.
这多苦啊
Why are you crying? Because
这
you
个
start to
人就吓哭
grumble
了就
and say, why am I born into the world? I have to face with so many difficulties. Because your inner spirit self, your inner self knows that you have to go through many
这一生太不容易了。
difficulties and challenges in life.
那么
So it is very challenging.
上稍微明白
to
一
lead
点
a
的人
successful
哎
life.
你看到他已经熬出一身病来了。
Well, for people
所以
who
若干次遇到的人，
so I have met people who have seen
岁数大了，70岁了，
who have some illness because of that.
开车
For example,
来
the mom is in the 70s, come
求求你师傅
and say,
你看有什么
"Master,
方法给他弄一弄
can you help?
啊，那我们伺候他太不容易了。
My mom is hard for us to take care of her."
来吧，
I say, "Why don't you
课程
come?"
修啊
I say, "Why don't you start to cultivate?"
但是送老妈来的儿子，
But the son who bring the mom
就算50岁吧，
is about 50 years.
哎呦，
And I look at the son.
你是不是也该来？
I say, shouldn't you come to cultivate as well? And the son said, no, I have no time. I like meditations, but I don't have the time to practice. If I have time, I will definitely come to practice because I need to focus on my career.
很棘手，很麻烦。
And my business is quite challenging, so I need to spend time in my business. And I look at his
有的
face.
是邪气，已
Sometimes
经把它包裹起来，
I could see that
一身的邪气。我叫他来，
she has a lot of habits that are really overwhelmed.
但是我不能说他不
And
懂。
I can't tell her directly
那邪气
because
哪来邪气？
说了
你怎么
他也不信。
he may not believe all this.
所以前些日子咱们说，哎，
That's why a few days
透露几
ago,
个这种健康小
I
秘密
share a lot of
你
tips
你可以用这个
about
方法
health.
自己照着镜子对照，
If you look at the pictures and look at yourself, whether you have those
然后也
signs,
留下那几个记号，是吧？
because
哎，
Lord Yara is looking
我们
at
说
those
了我们到处
indications.
查资料一问说是这么回事儿，他吓坏了，赶快来修吧，有什么
And
好方
after
法
he went to check,
因为
and
有
he
些人
said, well,
他们这种
indeed, I have
有
such
些感
sign.
受
I've started to have the feelings. What
这
can
有
I
症状
do?
还有就是我没有直接说他，他都不来
Some, I didn't tell them directly.
昨天
They would not come.
在禅堂外头，哎，
So
有走八卦
yesterday
的也有
at the
来
center,
来的家属
outside the center, there are those who practice at the
这个来的
Jibagua
人
and their
就当然
families.
是很
Of
踏
course,
实来的
those who come to
家属
practice,
来了
they practice very well. And there are some family members that came as well. And I say,
这之前没见过您呢。哎呀，我
I
在
haven't seen you,
亚
Mr.
洲工作
Mr. Zhang. I work in Asia. I'm very busy in Asia. Why do you come to practice with us?
他不用功夫哈，不用功夫，光看脸上的记号，哎呀，
I look at him. I look at his facial features. I could sense a
心
problem.
脏有问题
He has
脑血管有问
he
题
has liver problem. He has cardiovascular related disease.
我说你来休息。哎呀
And I
我
say, why do you come and
就
practice?
直接就是
And they
手往那
say,
一推，我
no.
很忙
And just say,
我忙
I'm
得不得
very
了
busy.
虽然不是那么赚钱，但是我忙得不得了，我没空。哎呀，我说你再
And
不
I
来
say,
就
if you
晚了
don't come, you'll be too late.
什么晚了？
What do you mean by too late?
来吧，
He didn't understand.
我又不能直白的说你要
I
尽早
cannot
来
say
这
very
是这种
directly
白
to
头
him.
嘛就不能说
Well,
这句话
you have cancer, right? I can't say that directly.
旁边一位女士说
So the one next to me
10
said,
年前我就
10
听说
years
过你
ago, I heard
太
of
神
you.
了我还介绍2个人
I actually
我的邻
sent
居介
two
绍来了
person here.
你去
My
禅修
I
你
even
去学一学
encourage
可能
my
对你就好
neighbors to
昨天
come.
来了挺好的
They did really well. They
他
practiced
那没
well.
空
But for him, he has no
去
time.
年一检查身体
So for after went for medical checkup,
怎么了呢？
检查完身体之后让他看不到明天了
there's no future.
医生说哎我觉得西方的西医很实在
I think the Western doctors are very direct. They just tell you that it's
还
incurable.
要告诉你还有多长时间。
对还
And
你
some
你现
even
在
tell
开始
you
用
how
不了
long you
倒
can
计
live.
时你看哪一会儿变成0你就挂掉了一告诉他哎等大家都没有办法哎呀谁师傅就来了
Well, when there's no other way out,
我
the
不是
person
不信
came.
我总觉得我那时候没病
Well, then I said, why didn't you come earlier? And he said, because it's not because I don't believe. It's because I didn't hear and I feel that I'm fine. That's because you never get a medical report.
是吗那我得检查一下如果是我就来如果不是
So that person, after hearing this sharing, said, I will go to see the doctor. If the doctor said that I have problems, I will come. And if not, I'll not come. I feel that this person is too narrow-minded. It's not.
实验告诉你一个结果的人都是小命不久的
Usually, if you want to wait for the doctors to tell you,
见了我怎么说话都是
then to tell you that your health
师傅一
is
看
not
咱们有
good,
缘咱们有缘
well, that is pretty much,
有个屁
you
缘
are pretty much quite sick already.
都听。
And during that time, these people will come to me and they will just listen to what I said.
都是病歪歪医生救不了的
Because a lot of
你就来
time
而
they
且
come because
危
they
及到你的
cannot
生
be
命
cured by
对不对你
doctors.
的钱还没花光呢就是人就要挂掉了才来的什么有什么缘呐这真才叫恶缘呢什么叫好好的时候一点都不来
So I don't understand why is it that when you're healthy, you don't want to come to start your practice. You want to wait for the doctor's report to say that you have specific illness or your life is drawing to an end, then you want to come.
你能看多少天的日出呢
How many
对不对
days of
你念你
sunrise
生
can
为
you
这么多的
observe?
烦恼有没有把你压垮
Are you challenged by daily
有时候扛住意识的压
difference
力
or by
扛不住
all
几
the
年
all the
几十年
pressure?
的压力
Not everyone can withstand those
我
pressure.
们实际带来的这种压力感，不说别的哈，一个是健康压力，第二个经济压力。
So we just talk about two pressure. One is health, one is finance.
不光是精神病哈。
So many people have mental illness or cardiovascular disease or even kidney disease as a result of this stress.
你有吗？
What do you have this too, my friend?
有没有咱们再说哈。
Well, we can consider this later, but I hope that you will chant
还有说
sincerely. This is a rare
有
opportunity.
来念佛，已经开始就受益了。
Actually, if you start to chant, if you start to practice with me, you will start to
我们
reap the
修行
benefits.
都是为了自己，
Actually, a lot of time our cultivation is actually for ourselves.
包括你们家人都是。
But for chanting, it is not only just benefits you, it will benefit your entire
好几
family.
件这个故事会给大家
So
分
we
享。
have a few stories
在
that we
分享
share
之
with
前
you.
呢，所以我先读一下。
But before we start the class, I will recite some names who like to receive the protections from Guanyin Bodhisattvas.
这个名单哈，读到的和没读到的都会得到保佑。
Whether your name is being mentioned or not, you will be blessed.
这样
But we'll just pick very selectively a few.
林川元、陈月桂、天宇、林文聪、田桂荣、李艳梅、王玉兰、张桂妹、张翠兰、赵子琪、赵丽霞、王春发、邢东香、陈伟达、谢瑞云、迎策、李亮栋、熊艳平、杨爱英、陈国华、郑长发、建国、华某忠、赵春燕、平腾、孙良、徐礼芳、赵廷国、吴伟、王凤顺、张浩、卓言、韩香芝、方征、如浅、谢君兰、冯泽、孙梦琪、郑美健、吴庸、吴颂、黄志光、邱瑞晨、廖尚贤、唐心怡、苏明松、徐宇浩、苏坤主、蔡玉燕、李道、以平、林月轩、徐锦平、穆勇、洪瑞恩、耀军、贾云栋、王双双、西璇、西雀、程新可、米鱼 K、刘慧君的哥哥、洪学书、许福军、若民、罗慧祥、朴基乐。好，祝愿大慈大悲
Wishing the all-compassionate Buddha, Bodhisattvas, Guanyin Bodhisattvas
护佑以上
will protect
读到的
all
名字，
the name that mentioned.
保佑他们一切如意吉祥，
May they be
健
auspicious.
康长寿。
May they have health, longevities. May their wishes
那
come
么我
true.
们刚才我感慨到，
Today, just now, I mentioned that our life have so many
但是只要
issues.
我们修行，
But as long as we start our cultivation, especially
就
chanting,
可能得到
maybe we will receive the protections of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So let's come and listen to some sharings.
感恩师父。
Thank you,
首先呢
Master.
带来的是澳大利亚墨尔本
First, I
长
want to
老的
share
一个
about
见证
someone from
女儿
Melbourne.
听力奇迹
It's
般地
about the
恢复了
daughter's hearings amazingly improved.
是墨尔本的方初师姐哈。
It
师
is
父
from
您好
Melbourne,
弟子
Fang
方
Chu.
初来自澳大利亚。
Hello,
我想分
Masters.
享
I'm
师父
Fang
和
Chu.
菩萨
I'm
赋予
from
我小
Melbourne
女儿的故
Centers.
事
I want to
我
share
小女
about
儿
my
凯瑟琳
youngest
今
daughter.
年11岁，因为
Stories. My youngest
还有
daughter,
鼻呼吸道
Kathleen, is
先天
11
发育
this
不
year,
是很好
And because it has some issues with ear, nose, throat issues, and there are some fluids. And after some times, but it didn't manage to get rid of it. So after some times, it become hardened, and as a result, sometimes it causes some ears disease. So there's some middle ears problems, and it can actually cause her to lose her hearing. And for my daughter, her left ear, she couldn't hear very well, and the specialists have suggested that she go for some operations. So at 4, she had the first operation. At 8, she had the second operations. And at such a young age, she already had 2 operations. I really worried about her. In 2019, we found that our 9-year-old daughter, sometimes her response is a bit slow or have no reactions to us. So in October, we brought her to go for a hearing checkup. And we found that her left ear is almost, she can't even hear it. And before that, there's a tube, and there's inserted a tube, and that's already loosened. And the specialist suggested that she go for her 3rd operation. And the operation is set at December. Because that is Melbourne summer, so it's easier for kids not to fall sick. And during that time, I start to practice and I start to offer lights. Luckily, in October, I went to Malaysia to join one of Master's class. And during that time, I have a chance to become a disciple. And in the class, Master taught us to use the treasure vase and the 6 syllables mantra to bless our family. And after that, I prostrate to the 4 arms Guanyin Tanka, and I use Master method to bless my child. Before the operations, we went for another checkup, and the hearings improved. And what is even amazing is that doctors think that the child don't have to go for the 3rd operations. So the child miraculously recovered, even led the doctors to feel very amazed. I'm so full of thanks to Master, to Guanyin Bodhisattvas for protecting my child, allowing her to regain her hearing. And since 2019, end of year, my daughter's hearing has improved, and it's very easy to communicate to us, and her performance in school is becoming better and better. And even received the month of Aussie. That is a form of encouragement to top students. So as a mom, I'm so proud of my child, but I'm more thankful that Master kept protecting my child. So as we can see, the mom cultivates and it brings the kids good fortune. Indeed, otherwise the child will lose the hearings. And actually, before that, she already had the 2 operations. So how can we guarantee that the 3rd operations will be effective? And now she fully recovered without even have to go for operations. Thank you, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Thank you, Master. She is very blessed. In her growing up years, it is so important to be healthy. If the child is not healthy, the parents will be very worried. And during this time, she prayed to Bodhisattva, and that's why she received the blessing and help her. It is a form of miracles that arise because of cultivation.
就是我也很感慨，就比方说，经常我们小时候为了锻炼身体吧，老师说，哎，我们要跑步。
Actually, when we are young, in order to get our good health, our teachers always tell us to practice jogging. It seems to help us to be better for us in terms of our respiratory system. But actually, after we learn this,
没办法锻炼得到的，你也没办法防得住的。
There are some disease that's not through our daily of joggings will be able to prevent, because disease can occur anywhere and everywhere.
该给师傅。
这个时候觉真忘了吧？
So she is so fortunate.
好，送一个五彩的小佛珠哈。
So I have this
这个健康
bead
快乐的成
for
长
her,
哈
wishing you to grow
他保佑你。
very healthily.
好，师傅，接下来呢是来自于白莲的 Jessica。
Master, we have another sharing that's from
带来她的分享
Bailian
儿子的一个
Jessica.
非常惊险的遭遇，也是有惊无险呐。
哦，
我们一起来看她的视频。
Let's see her stories.
Hi, I'm Jessica, and I'm really happy and grateful and excited to share something miraculous that happened recently in a health and happiness retreat. It was during a chanting session for our children. I'm very close with my son. I've got a very soft spot in my heart for him. But teacher Rachel, who was facilitating the retreat, told everyone during this retreat for chanting that the most important thing is our sincerity, and also not just to chant for our own child, but to chant for children around the world. So I really took this to heart. And I sat down, and as soon as the music started playing to Guanyin Bodhisattva for us to chant, or the chanting music, I had the urge to put my legs in a full lotus posture and feeling to chant as loud as I could for Guanyin Bodhisattva was just so overwhelming. And I allowed myself to go with it. And it felt as though my body kind of turned into an antenna. My eyes were obviously closed, and in my mind's eye, I saw a huge Guanyin Bodhisattva, and just illuminated in beautiful, like azure light, kind of a white light. And she had the medicine bottle, the long medicine bottle. And there were many children that she was pouring medicine or ointment on the children. And then all of a sudden, I felt tremendous pain in my left side of my head and in my cheek. But it didn't wake me up from the meditation. The chanting was so loud and the vision so real that I continued with it. And so beautiful. And then I saw my son lifted to Guanyin Bodhisattva, and she poured the ointment on his head. And it was, I also felt it was so soothing, so amazing. After the chanting, the phone buzzed, and I noticed it was my son, and I didn't pick it up because we were in a retreat. And then the phone buzzed again, and I realized something's going on because my son never calls me twice in a row. So I ran out of the retreat, and I answered the phone, and my son told me he had been in an accident, a surfing accident, and the surfboards are very pointy. It hit him on his left cheek, just missing his eye, and because it has a fin, and on the top of his head, and it sliced open his head. I said, "Are you okay?" He says, "For some reason, Mom, I don't feel any pain." I did feel pain. My whole side was so painful. And I told my son, he was in urgent care and waiting for the doctor at that point. So I was talking to him and I told him the story. I said, "You're never going to believe this, but I just saw Guanyin Bodhisattva pouring ointment." He says, "That's amazing, Mom. It must have taken the pain from me because I don't feel pain right now." It ends up that he had to get 5 staples in the top of his head. There are no words for the gratitude in my heart. I'm so grateful for Grandmaster for teaching us these chanting methods, for showing us the way, and also for Guanyin Bodhisattva and all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for their protection. I'm truly, truly grateful. beyond words. And thank you so much. 我爱你们. Thank you. Hi, I just wanted to give an update on my son's healing process. I'm so grateful and humbled and overjoyed because it's only been several days and he's back at work. And his job's very physically and mentally challenging at times. And so it's incredible. I just spoke with him. He's energized and he's a tiger. It's the tiger year. So thank you, Grandmaster. Thank you, Buddha. And thank you, Bodhisattvas.
师父真的为我们的 Jessica 师姐高兴哈，她母子连心哦。
Well, look at her. She is connected with the sun. This is amazing. And the way that she's connected to the sun is actually even apart, when they're miles apart. It's like the incidents happen on her. I think this is something that happens very miracles throughout cultivations. Actually, the moment that we have our child, we are actually connected. The mom is actually connected to the kid, to the child. So there are some nerves that are forever connected. So when something major happens, they'll be able to sense it. Or even siblings. If you have twins, you will be able to sense the other one. Say, for example, they live in two different families. Say the elder sister wants to drink water, and the other sister may think that I'm thirsty, although they are living in two different households. So this mom is very lucky. Not only that, through her cultivation, she's able to see Guanyin Bodhisattvas in her meditative state and to see that the medicines being poured onto so many children, as including her own child. She even saw the image of the son being lifted by Guanyin Bodhisattva and having the medicines poured onto his head. I think she cultivated very well, and that's why the son said that she didn't feel the pain. Even when he had 5 stitches, he didn't feel the pain. Because Guanyin Bodhisattva is already healing for the son. I think she has this very, very compassionate thought as well, because Master taught us that when we chant, we do not chant for our own child. We chant for children all around the world, so that children all around the world will be peaceful, calm, peaceful, and auspicious. And Jessica, she learned this method, and immediately when she chant, she actually chant more broadly, not only just for the benefits of her own child, she chant for the benefits of all children. And this is what our Grandmaster taught us, the special chanting method. The other thing what we can learn is that she is very sincere. She is very sincere, and she chants, she immerses her whole entire body to chant, so that she was able to connect with Guanyin Bodhisattvas, connect with this compassionate energy. And what is even more interesting is that the son is born in this year, which is so-called the year of, because this is the year of a tiger, and he's born in the year of tiger. So there is a very highly chance that there may be some accidents or some inauspiciousness. So hopefully after this incident happens, it actually clears these calamities relating to this, and that she be protected by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. What's a great sharing! So shall we have a present
再送2个小礼物吧。
for the Jessica and the son?
这个给儿子的，这个念珠是给妈妈的哈，
This is for the son and this is for the
他
mom.
们都能够健康长寿、如意吉祥。
感恩师父，收到。那下面呢是温哥华的小青带来的。
Next is 小青。
避难成祥。
Sharing from 小青。
这样的机会来感恩观音菩萨。大概10年前的一件事啊，我在加拿大。
Thank you, Masters. This happens 10 years ago. I live in the east side of Canada. Because my house is quite far, so every day I need to go onto the expressway. And when I drive on the expressway, I always listen to Masters chanting Guanyin Bodhisattvas, and I also have Guanyin Bodhisattva's the Auspicious Dharma card. And one day there was a snowstorm. The snow was so the speed was 100 kilometers per hour. So the teachers notify everyone to quickly leave the schools because the snowstorm becomes too heavy. When I'm on the expressway, I start to worry and I start to chant with Masters. But the car starts to skid on the expressway. It actually skid across a few lanes. And then it makes a 180 donut turn. And during this time, the Guanyin Bodhisattva's auspicious card dropped onto my laps. And initially I was supposed to drive forward. Now I can see the cars from the back moving towards me. That's so scary. But luckily, the lane that I skid to, there was no car at all. And the other cars from the other lane starts to slow down to allow space for me to make a turn so that I can turn back and drive in the right directions. I'm still in my shock. And then I look at the Canada. There is no protecting barrier. If I were to go forward by 30 meters, there is a 5 meters deep ditch. So if I drive a bit forward, I may just drop into this huge ditch. So I'm full of thanks because I'm able to avoid these calamities. And I know that this is because of Masters and Guanyin Sattva's blessings and protection. Well, in Canada, driving in snow is actually very dangerous. Everybody drives in fear. For her, she's only a student, and I think the car is not a very good condition because she's just a student, and the wind is so strong, and the snow is also very. The wind speed is also very. It's like 100 kilometers per hour. So when the car went on the donut turn, it's actually very dangerous. I'm just trying to imagine. So if you turn 180, so you're facing backwards. So if there's a car coming forward at you, you'll be scared, completely scared. Because when the car skids in snow, you probably lose your control of car already. You cannot turn it back. So for her, luckily, she is actually chanting the Guanyin Bodhisattva chant while she's driving, and she has this Guanyin auspicious card in the car. So I want to have a present for her. This is a rhinoceros, a baby rhinoceros.
因为像你一样啊。好了好了，这个不要像他。
哦，我还以为小猪像他了。感恩师父。
Thank you, Masters. Wishing you health, longevity, and auspiciousness. Thank you, Master.
接下来是我们的马来西亚的曾涵师姐。
Next, we are sharing from Zhenhan, Sister Zhenhan, from Malaysia, to ward off fire calamities. Hello, Masters. I'm Zhenhan from Malaysia, and I want to share about how Guanyin Bodhisattvas protect me and my families from fire incidents. I live by myself, and I have 2 daughters. They are married, and in my house, I have a Guanyin Bodhisattva set that has a prayer table, and for 40 over years, a few days, my daughter, my youngest daughter who lives in KL, visited me, and our entire family went to the meditation center to join the Guanyin Bodhisattva's Enlightenment Day ceremony. At there, I offered lights to Guanyin Bodhisattvas. I also offered flowers and fruits, and I chant with everyone. And during that time, the centers gave us one Guanyin Bodhisattva's image. I really like it. When I go back home, I actually offer it. And every night, I actually add the oil into my room because I was very tired. I didn't realize that the new oil that I bought is actually a different grade. It is easily burned, and after an hour, I heard that there's some noise outside. Like my daughter and my son-in-law, like something happens. Now then I realized that the order table, the lamp is on fire. And the fire is quite high. It's reaching the incense burner. My daughter took the pictures. So you can imagine, look at this. The fire is so high. Actually, that time, my son-in-law was having a headache, and that's why he stood up and watched a TV in the living room. And he kind of sensed that there's some lights, and that's why he went to see it. That's when he happens to be there. So I was actually very lucky that during that time, my daughter and my son-in-law came to visit me. If it's me, if it's when I'm by myself, I must be asleep already, and this fire must have burned the entire family. I think this is because of the protections of Guanyin Bodhisattvas. Thank you, Masters, for your protections. Thank you, Guanyin Bodhisattvas. I really understand what Master says about the Guanyin Bodhisattvas, the manifestations of Guanyin Bodhisattva's image. It's so auspicious, and it can help us to ward off calamities. So my families and I are full of thanks to Masters and Guanyin Bodhisattva. Thank you for your protections and blessing. Thank you to help us to ward off one calamities. Actually, that day is a very auspicious day. They went to the center to participate in the Entertainment Day celebrations. And look at this, Buddha Bodhisattvas are so, she didn't even know that she bought the wrong oil. She didn't know that. But Bodhisattvas led the son-in-law to have a headache. And that's why sitting in the living room. And that's why saved them from these calamities. So she is actually very lucky. So I think I just want to take this opportunity to advise all that when you have lights, when you have like the real fire lights, you should try to off in the middle of the night. So we have a bead for her. May the Buddhas protect you. May you be safe, auspicious. And we have next another sharing from Taiwan, Li Jiazhen. Let's look at the sharing, how they managed to avoid a major car accident. Hello, Master. I'm 48. When my husband drives, he always play the chanting of Guanyin Bodhisattvas and chant together. So my family is always very safe. In 2020, in July, when my husband drives to work in the highway, there is a car and was being hit by a car behind. So they make a few donut turns, and after that, they lose control. And then it was skipped for a long time before it stops. And during that time, the entire car is spoiled. The windows are all shattered. And everything just lost, even the cell phone. And it's only left with Masters, Guanyin Bodhisattva, and Guanyin Bodhisattva's auspicious cards, and also the Buddha's bead. And when the accident happens, he was trapped. He couldn't come out. He couldn't open the door. And it's actually quite dangerous. So there are actually ambulance and fire engine. And there is also a lorry that came to actually extract the car. And when the medical professional checked on him, they said that my husband is very lucky because this is such a serious car accident, but he only had a very little suffering. So we went to the hospital and they did an x-ray for my husband. There's nothing very serious. Even the doctors feel that it is very amazing. When he had the accident, he kind of sensed that there's something that protects him. Kind of like this protection. It's like Guanyin Bodhisattva is protecting her, so that in such an accident, he's saved. Full of thanks to Masters. Well, you can look at the image, you can kind of like sense that this is actually a very serious accident. When a car makes a turn and turn many times, the car is completely destroyed, but he's saved. So he's very lucky. And based on what he described, when when at the moment when the other car hit, he felt that there's this protection that surrounds him. So this is like a Bodhisattva is protecting her.
一道白光啊，他是佩戴那个观世音菩萨那个挂坠的嘛哈，然后一道白光，他就觉得自己被保护住了。
So actually, we heard about another story earlier part of the year. It was a father and son. They also had an accident. They were protected by a white ray, and during that time, she wore a Guanyin Bodhisattva's pendant. So that was also a protection by Guanyin. So this is also another protection by Guanyin. Thank you, Masters. Thank you, Guanyin Pusa. Guanyin Bodhisattva's protections. Yes, what is important is that you need to be sincere. There's this Z-beat for him and wishing him auspiciousness. Next, we have another sharing from Malaysia, Zhen Yang.
又一次的来彰显了我们叫什么菩提禅修为民除害的这样的一个特效。他是讲摆脱母狮子称号。师父好。
She said, Master, since I have my son in 1993, my temper becomes really bad. I become very hot-tempered. So as a result, my colleagues, my child, my husband suffered for 25 years. I always give them in order, and if they do not follow my instruction, I will scold them. When my son and my husband see me, he will try to avoid me. My son always tries to avoid me and stay in his room to have his meal. And my daughter also don't like to bother with me, and she seldom interact with me. And every night when my husband comes back home, he always watch TV. When I talk to him, he pretend to not hear me. Actually, weekend he don't have to work, but he also go to office to avoid me. I always wait for my husband to come back, and I was very angry and scold him. You have a house, you have a wife. Why is it that you don't stay at home at weekends? But he just ignore me. Well, in the company, my interactions with my colleagues is not good as well. I seldom talk to them. I try to avoid speaking to them. Well, it's only when I can't avoid, then I speak to them. If my colleagues I'm not happy with my colleagues, I will stare at my colleagues, or I will hit the table, or I will bang the door, or I will close the drawers. And as a result of this, my boss called me as a lioness.
这个外号
Well,
足足伴
this
随了我
this
20多
nickname
年。
has been with me for 20 over
2018年
years.
7月，我参加了
2018 in
菩提禅
July,
修
I
真心
joined
念佛
Bodhi
班。 在
meditation
这个
chanting
课程
class.
上，我
And
每
during
天都
this
认
class,
认真真
every
听
day
师
I
傅开
listen
始，
to
每
masters.
天都
Every
反省
day I have
自己，
self-reflections.
一点一点的，
And I
我
start to
认识到
realize
自
that
己
I am
太
too
过
full
霸
of
道、
myself
自
and
我、
I'm too
傲慢。
arrogant. 当
When I
认识到
realize
这一
this,
点的时候
I
I
start
start
to
to
change
change
my
my
way
way
of
of
communications
communications
with
with
my
my families and colleagues.
我基
I
本
start
没再
ordering
命令
them.
他们了，
I start
说
to
话
say
柔软了很多。
more softly.
我改
I
变了，
change.
孩
My
子们
children
不
no
但不
longer
再躲
avoid
着
me.
我，还
They are
愿意跟
willing
我
to
相
be
处，
with me.
会
And
主
they
动
try
找我
to
聊天，
interact with
会
me
讲他们
and
的
tell
心
me
事。
about their
我
issues.
的丈夫也
And so
是，
is my
周
husband.
末会待
During
在
the
家里
weekends,
陪
he
着
will
我
stay
的。
at home and
我
stay
们
with
常
me.
常一起
We
去
always
购
go
物
to shop,
买菜。
buy
后来
vegetables,
他还和
or
我一
he
起走
even
八卦。
start to practice
对
energy
待同
bagua
事
with，
我
me.
也有很大的
To
改
my
变。
colleagues,
我
I've
没有
changed
跟
as
他们
well.
发过脾
I've
气了。
stopped
我
raising
们
my
时
voice
常
at them.
一起吃饭，
So we
一起喝
always
咖
have meals
啡。
together.
我还会
Sometimes we
帮
have
助他们
coffee,
工作
and
上的问
sometimes I
题。
help them with their
我
work.
母狮子的外
From
号
then on,
已经
I'm
很
no
久
longer
没有
known
人再
as a
叫了。
lioness.
这些情况以
So
前是从
these
来没有
times,
的，
for
是
others,
师傅改变了我，
because of
让我
the
从一个
masters
母狮
changed
子
me.
变成了
Master,
一位
you
温
have
柔的
changed
妈
me
妈，
to be a
一位
gentle
温柔
mother,
的好
a
太太，
gentle wife, and
一
an
位温
easy
柔
to
的公司
communicate
员工。
office worker.
曾经的我，人
Well,
人
in the
见而
past,
躲避。
everyone's avoid
现
me.
在的我
But
变成
now,
了温暖
I
的小太
becomes
阳，大家都
like
愿
a
意
little,
亲近
like a
我。
sun full
我
of
很感
warmth.
恩师傅改变
Everyone
了
is
我。
willing to
我
come
一
near
个
me.
人改变
I'm
了，
very
不再
thankful
霸
to
道脾
masters.
气了，
Thank you,
家人和
masters,
同
for
事们
changing
都
me.
跟着受益了。
Because of my
我
change,
每天
my
早上都
family's
会双手
benefited.
合十，跟师傅
Every day
问
in the
好。
morning,
每
I
次
will
回
put
到
my
家
palms
也
together
会双
to
手
greet
合
masters.
十，
When I
跟
go
师傅
home, I
报
will
告
also put
我
my
回来
palms
啦。
together to thank
有师傅
masters,
真
to
好。
tell masters I'm home.
这个咱们前面都讲一人修行一家受益哈。
对
We
这
shared
个师姐
before
是一人
when
修行，
for
不光
one
他们家，一公司都跟着
benefits,
受益。
对
when one
没
person
错。
start to
对，
cultivate,
她
the
教母
families
狮
will
子都教了
benefit.
20多年
Well,
了。
for this
哇
Dharma
年
sisters,
对，
not only her
然
family
后跟了师
benefited,
傅学的修
her
行念佛
colleagues
之
also
后哈，
benefited.
从母狮子变成了大绵羊了。
哎，
And
哎
so
呀，
she
真
changed
好。嗯，
from a
这么
very
温暖
aggressive,
啊。
这个
hot-tempered
只能可
lady
能通过
to
修才
someone
是
that's more mild
对
and gentle.
嗯
Complete change.
也是，我就不议论他了哈。
嗯，我
这就是
们听着很开心。
对，终于从狮子变成人了哈。
Well, you have finally
对，
changed from a
也
lion
是
to a
像一个
human.
野兽，其实。
You were like
哎
you were like
所以
an
这个
animal.
修养啊，修养啊，
啊，
So
这
you
不是
need
谁怕你
cultivations.
你太泼辣哈，太泼辣之后呢，让我们的家人呢都离开我们，
对受伤害
躲得
呀
对
远远，
真的
的。
受伤。就是
对对
When you
还
don't
好不
manage your
敢了哈。
temper
啊，
and if you have bad
鼓励他们
emotions and you try to vent it on your family members, they suffer because of you.
这个五彩的小手串，
So
送
this
给
is a Buddha
这个叫
bracelet
增
that's for you.
增阳
增阳哈，
增阳
好好好，好，希望你更加温柔体贴哈
so，that you becomes more
祝福
gentle.
你。
收到，感恩师父。
Thank you, Master.
好，下面是来自于我们泰国的王云网友，他讲的求子得
Next,
子
we
的
have
见
a
证。
sharing
师傅好，我
from
是来自泰
Thailand.
国曼谷的王云。
Hello, Masters.
我之
I'm
前
Wang
呢
Yun
有一次
from
宫外
Bangkok.
孕，然后呢
There's
切
one
了
time
右侧的
I
输
had
卵管，
some
医生说怀孕的几率就降低到50%了。而且
I
如
have
果要
some
怀孕
issues
之
with
前呢，
my
还要
fallopian
去检
tubes.
查
And
左
because of
侧的
that,
输卵
the
管
doctor
是
says
否
it's
通
very
畅。
difficult for me to
一
be
般情况
pregnant.
下呢，曾经
Usually,
有一侧
if
输卵
one of
管
the
堵塞，
fallopian
另
tubes
一
is
侧也
blocked,
会
the
容
other
易堵
one will
塞。
be easily
那
blocked.
同样也还
So-
会再次出现宫外孕。那因为检查时会
Because
很
the-
痛，所以我也
the-
就没有再去检
The
查。知道自己
checkup
怀
is
孕
very
的几率
painful. I
很
didn't
低，
go for
所
it.
以我每
I
天
know
都
that
对着
I
观
have
世音
very
菩萨像
low
和
chance to
师
get
父的法
pregnant.
照，
So
真
I
诚地
every
诵
day I
念祈
chant
求
and
佛
then
菩
I
萨赐一
pray
个
to masters and Guanyin Bodhisattvas to allow me to have a child. It doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl. And the second month, during the second month, I have a dream in one morning. I dreamed that Guanyin Bodhisattvas come to my bed and said to me, "You go for checkup. You are already pregnant." Well, I couldn't believe. I thought even if it's normal people would not be pregnant so fast. But because Buddhas already tell me, so I went for medical checkup. Indeed, I'm pregnant, and I'm pregnant with a boy because before that is a daughter. So now I have a son. So now I have a son and a daughter. In 2018, October the 26th, I successfully delivered my baby, and he's now 3.5, and he's very healthy. Thank you, Masters. Thank you, Guanyin
他这个
Bodhisattva.
也是，就是他说的这个身体的问题，就是确实是哈，怀孕率
很低了。
对，就是这样。
Yes, because her issues, the fallopian tube blockage, will make pregnancy very difficult. We'll just have ectopic pregnancy. But because of her prayers, Guanyin Bodhisattva's answer her prayers, she became pregnant after a month.
真是好啊，儿女双全，
真是恭喜恭喜哈！
Congratulations.
恭喜王云。
得一对儿女嘛。
就是呀。
我送他这一对儿这个珍珠的耳环哈。
Oh, have this pearl earring.
宝贝哈。哎，好，真是祝福你。
Wishing you.
愿观世音菩萨
May
能够
Guanyin
保佑你们
Bodhisattvas
全家
protect your
如意
entire
吉祥
family,
健康长寿
auspicious
享受很多幸福快
longevities,
乐。
收到
and
感恩
happiness.
师傅，
恭
Thank
喜
you,
哈
Master.
真好。
好，今天呢我们就先分享这么多。
I think we shall
我
just
们抓紧时间呢，用
We'll
自己
just
最真
have
诚的
sharing
心
till now,
诵
and now
念
we
大
want to
慈大悲
chant sincerely.
人生救苦观世音菩萨名号。现在开
I'm going to
始。
start chanting the Guanyin Bodhisattvas.
南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨， 南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩 世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨， 南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨， 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 菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音 南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨， 南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨， 菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音。好，我们双手合十，
Now put our palms together
用最恭敬的心
with our most sincere
感
heart.
恩
We
大
thank
慈大
the
悲
all
救苦
compassionate
救难的观世音
Guanyin
菩萨，
Bodhisattva.
保佑我们身体健康，
May Guanyin Bodhisattva bless us with health,
幸福快乐，
happiness,
延年益寿，
longevity.
消灾消难。
May all of us be free from calamities.
因为我修的时间比较久，
Because I have been
通常呢，
cultivating for a long
我
time.
念佛啊，差不多20分钟之后啊，
And after chanting for
我的
20 minutes,
就感觉到那个口腔的
I
唾
could
液，
feel
就是口水啊，就变得比较
my
干燥。
saliva becomes more
那
bittersweet.
如果我要念的超过差不多40分钟、1个小时之
If
后
I
呢，
chant for 40 minutes
那个
or an hour,
唾液的甘甜呢，就会变得更清
it
凉的感觉。
becomes more
在小时候呢，师父就说，像这样的
clear
甘甜的这个唾液
and
呢
it tastes a
它
lot
也
more
就
sweet.
成为
There's
叫
a lot
甘
more
露
sweetness.
啊。
And this is like
也
dew.
他说在
according
有
to
些
my
门派把
master.
它叫天河水，
Some
所以有了这样的
say
东
that
西
it
之
is
后，
actually heavenly
我慢
dew.
慢这样吞咽下
And
去。
as we slowly swallow
我
our
那个小时候
saliva,
就这么做，
I
哎
did that when I was
就好
young.
像有那种很清凉的，
There is this
像往
very
上
clear
垂着丝一
sensation.
样的
It
这
is
样的
like
液
a
体，
silk
就慢慢好像就垂
slowly
到胃里去，就我们感受得很清
go
楚。
deep into my stomach. I could
啊
feel very
因为我小
clearly.
时候因为营养不良，
Because
造
when
成
I
了
was
多
young,
种的
I
健康问
have
题，其实身上没什
malnutrition.
么好地
I
方。
have many
当然那时候也没
different
什么
type
恶性
of
病，它就是
health-related
因为营养不
issues.
良，所以造成全
Because
身都
of
是问
my
题。
malnutrition,
其
it
中一个
caused an
胃口不
overall
好，
problems, and one of
经
them
常
is
就
that I
上
couldn't
吐
eat
下
very
泻
well, and I
啊，
always
上
have
吐下泻
diarrhea and
有
always
时吃
vomit.
凉一点，哎呀不行，肚子痛，啊，要不就拉肚子，还经常是胃口造成的感冒。
A lot of time, I get a lot of cough, and the
可
cough
能我
can
们这个
last
家
for
族
3
遗传
months.
这个肺脏也不够好
I think
啊，
because
所以
it
一
is
着点凉，
inherited,
哎，
we
不
have
行
quite
了，
weak
嗓子痛
lungs.
脖子痛
So
啊，咳
sometimes
嗽咳
I
很
have
久
cough
啊，
for
又
a
咳
very
嗽又
long
吐痰
time,
啊。
and my
但是
neck
有
actually
这个
be
修
very
炼之后
painful.
呢，这
Actually,
种
after
甘甜的
chanting
这个唾液哈，
and after my
还垂到胃里
cultivation,
去，
as
有
I
了那种
swallow
美
my
好的感
saliva,
觉，
it has very
师
good
父就说呀，
sensation.
这个
And my
东西啊，
master says that
就叫救命丹。
this is something very special. It can
这个救
actually
命丹
save life.
这个词呢，是中国古人修道的时候
This
也
is
是发
something
现的
that
这样的一个现象。
our ancient
那么在
cultivator
更
they
远古
found
时
it.
期修道啊，
In ancient time, when they practice, when they cultivate, there are some very, there are some practitioners. It seems like after they cultivate for a long time, they cultivate into like a medicine, like a pills, miracle pills. And it can help with certain specific illness. Because the whole process of cultivation, it is not to cure our illness, but it is to elevate our spiritual. So if you want to become a divine person, you can come to talk to me after class, because there's a specific way to do that. My master name is secret. He told me that this can save life. I'm not sure whether is it in the journey to the West. These beads, this special pills, if you can pass on to the next person, the next person who received it, say for example the other person is has some poison from a poison arrows. The poison arrows can be, well, it's actually so poisonous that once you are hit by this poison arrow, you will be dead. But if you have this special pill, you don't need any other special medications. Within half an hour, your life will be saved. But if you don't have this pill, what will happen? Well, if you can have this pill, first of all, you will be able to enjoy longevities. Say, for example, based on your own family heredity, you may have some respiratory type disease or cardiovascular type of disease. But if you can cultivate to that level, all these DNAs would be changed. So it was even very difficult for you to die. You will be saved. Well, in martial arts, some are very good. They are able to withstand a lot of punches, but for some others, they can't. There are even some, they may be beaten, but people think that he's dead. But he become alive. There are some who even have been buried, and after that, they survive. They become alive after a few days. Actually, he said that actually, when I was being knocked down, it's not that I'm dead. It's just that I just fainted. The master says that if you have liver disease or you have gastric problems or acid reflux, this acid reflux is not a serious illness, but you can be so affected by it, you may get mental illness. It can actually affect your mental thinking. And not only that, it is very easy for you to get stomach cancer. Why? Because our esophagus, from our mouth all the way to our stomach, this entire period. So when we have this acid reflux, when it's so serious, it will actually burn away some of the protective layers in our stomach. Everyone have these protective layers. So when this is being burned, you will have stomach ulcer. First of all, with this stomach ulcer,
就是腐烂发炎的，它就最后烂成一个洞，这个很危险
It
的。
is very
很危险
dangerous.
那么第二种呢，就是长肿瘤。
And secondly,
所以一旦
there
胃
may
黏
be a
膜被烧
growth,
毁之后呢，
tumor,
它就
tumor growing
它
in
长
the
这些
stomach.
病，还不好治。
And it's
胃
very
病严重
difficult
呢，
to
就是最
cure.
高的境界就是得胃癌。
So the worst conditions
那
you
么
can
还有一
have
种不
is
幸
to
的
have
疾病呢
stomach
是长
cancer.
在食道上，这个癌症长在食道上，无论长到食道的，就是就像鸡脖子一样，鸡脖子中间段儿，还是鸡脖子鸡头
It
这
is
一
also
段儿，
likely to
啊
get
一长
cancer
到
at the
哪都很要命。
esophagus.
因为你比如说胃长了个瘤子，把它切掉它，
Well, for the
其他部
stomach,
分
if
缝
there
起
is a
来，
tumor,
哪
you
怕成个
can
鸡蛋
just
也好
cut
的，慢
away
慢
that
撑慢慢
part
撑，
of
最
the
后就成了
tumor,
个大胃，对不对？
and then your
可
your
是
stomach can
你
still
中
grow
间这
again.
个这道食道这个水管
But
这一
what
段儿，
about
你
this
总不能不吃饭，把
esophagus?
它剪断了怎么办呢？
You can't cut it
最后
off.
长了个癌，长了癌一长就一圈儿。那个饭呢，还一淌，你饭就从嘴里、鼻子里就冒出来了，都多恐
You
怖
can't
啊！
really swallow
就
your
是
food.
冒着不方便，对不对？那干脆坐着睡觉算了。
You can't
前
even
一天我就
sleep.
遇到一个新的学员，
2 days ago, I
他
met
就
this
说
new
他过去得
practitioner,
这个病的时候，
and he
他
said
要
that when he
躺
had
在一
this
个半
illness,
斜躺的
he
躺椅
had to
上
sleep
沙发
in
上
a
睡觉，
slope,
多
in
痛
a
苦啊！
slanted bed.
3年，
He couldn't sleep
他说我
properly,
都真的想
and he
死啊！
suffered that for
这
3
生下
years.
儿女的提起来不
He
光彩，
said
怕
he
下
wanted
地
to die.
狱，就撑着强撑着。现在修八卦好了，
Now he practiced energy bagua, and his
所以这哪
conditions
个病都
improved.
很要命。
All
哎，
disease
所
can
以
be
像这类
killing,
病，
can
当
be
你
a
有
killer
这样的
disease.
甘甜的唾液，
So when
喝
you
下去
have this, to
很
swallow
快不
this
出3次就好
sweetness in the saliva, if you have
这
can
这个就好
experience
玩了
this for
哈。
3 times,
但是
your
甚至是
stomach-related disease will be
肝炎
cured,
或者是肝癌，
even for
或
liver
者是肠
cancer
癌，
or
就用这个方法的话，
even for
当然
intestinal
这些
cancer.
在那个道教称为叫大药
So
大
in
药
Taoism,
啊，或者
this
叫
is
丹
known as the
啊
great
它是这么理解
medicines.
的哈。当然，它的大药和丹的深层理解可能还有更
But maybe
更
we are
强的
only
能量
at
在
a
里
very
头
superficial
啊。我们现
understanding
在
of these
可能只提
miracle
到了只
pills.
是组成这个丹药，
We are just
这
saying
种
that the
这种大药，
composites
这种
of
丹的
this
能量之
medical
一，
pill,
叫看似
the
唾液
energy.
看似唾液的东西。
So
啊
it looks like
很
it's a
奇
form
怪
of
所以
saliva,
这个时
but
候
actually it's
它
not.
分泌这个唾液就不是
So
一般的
after
唾液，
chanting,
可
you will
能来
have
自于
this
佛陀
saliva,
世
but
界
this is not
菩
really
萨
saliva.
清凉世界
This
当
could
中，
be
也就是
something
来自
from
于宇宙
Buddhas,
天国的一种
Bodhisattvas.
药，
This is something
融
from
合
the
到你的
universe
口腔液体
that
之中
is
了，明白了哈？
generating
所以
internally
大家
for
说，因为
us
口
is a
水能有这么大
medicinal
的价值
type
吗？
of pill, and
因为
its
我是一个
medicinal
体验
value
人
is beyond something that
所以
we
我
can
就小时候那个
imagine.
胃酸很
So
严
when
重，
I was young, I
是
had
吧？
very bad
我那个我看
acid
不到3
reflux.
个月就好了，啊，那个时候吃啥我都害怕。那么小孩儿，你一般小男孩儿是不是啊？身体很壮，石头子儿都想啃呐、哎，我那个时候什么都不敢吃，
Well, at that point in time, I
又
dare
想
not
吃
eat
又不敢
anything.
吃，吃了就难受。从那儿之后没胃酸过，
Well, from then on,
到
my
前
condition has
前
been
年有
cured.
过1次胃酸，
Only 2 years ago,
有过
I
1
had
次胃
this
酸，还不是因为自己得病了，
stomach
我
acids.
是试佛陀的那个药，就是那个药盒子。
It is not
它特
because
别
I
凉。
was sick. I
然后我在
actually
试
took
这个药，我
this,
说它的作
I
用怎么
tried
样？
these
你
herbs,
给我试的太凉
but I
了，
tried too much
然
because
后
it's
我
too
一次吃
cooling
了一
in
把，
nature.
我就试它的那种包括副作用的
I
感觉。
just want to try
对，
it
太
to
凉
know
了那
what
一次
type
胃酸
of
啊。
side effect
就
it
是
gets,
那么
and I
之后也没
realized
有。
that it's too cooling.
那之前就是小时候这种胃酸好了之后再也没有。
And before that, I only
那个好的
experienced
其中一个
the
最大的
acid
原因，
reflux when I
我
was
说是
really
最大的
young.
原因，
And
就
after
在我
I
们修
swallowed
炼
this
认真诵
miraculous
念
pill,
念
kind
佛
of like
念咒的时候，或
saliva,
者修
it
禅的
cured,
时
it
候哈，
cured
这个唾
my
液。
conditions.
就当我们进入境界走八卦的时
Actually,
候，也会产
when
生这
we
样的唾
enter
液。
a deep meditative
但是这
state,
种唾液
be it in
修
our
八卦的时候那种
cultivations
感觉，
or
不如
when
念
we
佛和
practice
修
energy
禅的时候
bagua,
那个能量
we
更
also
强，
generate
知道吗？
that. But the intensity is
就
not
光
as
我
great
只是说
as when we
说到这一
practice
点，
our meditations
哎，
or
对
when
我
we
们的帮助
chant.
就那么大。那网友你呢？
So, what about
何
you,
况我
my
们在
friend?
修的时候，我们不光是得到这一点哈，还有
And
很
this
多
is not
你
the
对
only
已经有
benefits
了这
that
个，
we
比如
reaped.
说山根
Say,
经
for
哈，
example,
然后
around
也
our
割的
eyes,
那一刀，
if there is
还有
this
耳朵上45度
indications
角，
that
耳
we
垂下面
will
那一刀
we
那个纹儿，
will have some
变淡了、变浅了或者
disease
消失了。
or the sign indication on the ears, you will
对，还
find
有
that
你那
these
个鼻
signs
子
will
干的那个
slowly
部位
becomes
是吧？干的部位
was
那个颜色
shallow. You will
哎
not
改
see
变了
so
变好了
clearly.
那我们的肝脏呢？你
So
眼
when
睛
all
里
this
面那个
happens, what happened to your
与
eyes? What
肝脏、
happens
心
to your
脏相关
liver?
的疾病的那些丝有没有改变？
What about those veins that's
再说
relating
轻一
to
点
liver
哈，
disease?
哎，
Do you think it
你
will
那个
change
睡
that?
眠有没有改变？
Then you ask yourself, what about
夜
your
尿
sleep
次数有没有改
conditions?
变？
Has your sleep conditions improved?
晚上睡觉
Do you
悬
still
浮的
need
感
to
觉，
go
就
to
是
the
睡得不
toilets a
扎
few
实的
times
感
at
觉有没有
night?
改变？
What about now when you
你这
observe
几
your
天
sleep?
饭
Do
量
you
有没有
sleep
改变？
soundly? What about your intake of
情绪有
food?
没有改变？
What about your emotion?
视力有没有改变？
What about your vision?
对，就是面相，那个气色有没有改
Even
变
your？facial expressions overall.
眼睛有没有变亮？
Do you find that your
哎，
eyes
这些都
becomes
是。
brighter?
尤其是皮肤有没有变得更漂亮？
Especially your skin.
哎，
Are they
是
smoother
给它
now?
摸一摸皮肤，
You can
比修
gently
炼前
touch your
哎
skin.
光滑了。
If you compare
对，
before you start your
这些变
cultivations
化，
and after you start
这些变化
cultivation,
是吃
you
药
will
所没
notice
有
a
的效果，
difference. And this is something
知道
that
吗？
you
虽然
cannot
吃药
get
是有医
through
疗作
taking
用啊，但是它
medications.
也有毒副作用。
Well, although
这个是修
medications
行，
is
它
important
的
when
受
we
益
are
是
sick,
全
but it
方
has
位。
its own side effect.
嗯，
And that's why cultivation is more
好玩吧
overall.
哈？还有我们会
benefits
感觉到，哎，一搓手，
And not only
念了几
that,
天之后，那个手
after
一
you
搓，
chant
哎，
a few
光滑
days,
的，
when you rub your
哎，
palms, you will
光
find that
滑
your
的。
palms is really
对，
smooth.
甚至感觉到还有的问题呢，就是觉得，刚才有个网友留言，
Just
说
our
觉得这
internet
几天
friends
耳朵
shared
变大了
that
很多，
these few
耳垂
days,
又大又厚，
the
现在
the
过去
ear
耳
loops
垂不
becomes
觉得又
bigger.
薄又窄，颜色
Before
难
that,
看。
the ears is
哎，
quite thin, but
念了
now
这
it
几天
becomes
觉得
thicker
耳
after
朵变
chanting
大
these
了，
few
耳
days.
垂变厚了，
The ear loops
哎，好
becomes
玩吧？
thicker. Isn't that
还有呢，
interesting?
这几天包括做功德、点灯和
Some
占念
who
法哈，
offer lights
还有
and
人
chant
出现功
together,
德朱砂。
they even have
那么新来
this
的朋友不
Gongda
懂得功德
Zusha.
朱砂是
So
什么
what is
哈？
that, you may ask?
哎，就是在你的身体某个
This
部
is
位
in your
上哈，
body at a
皮
certain
肤下
spot.
面有一个红
There
红的
is
小血点儿
a red, like a red
啊，那
dot.
有人说叫出血点。出血点呢是这样子，在那里这个任何一种原因形成了出血，啊，皮下出血之后，
Some may say that
在
it's
3
bleeding
天
below
以
the
后，
skin.
这个
But
红
if
点
it's
儿
really
变
before,
成
if it's really
像
bleeding
晒干的
before
血一样，
before
就是
below the
褐
skin,
色，
after 3
最
days
后
you
变
will
成黑
find that
色。
color will
说
change,
这个不
will
是，
darken from
那是
red
因为
color
挤压
becomes darkened
或者是
and
疾
becomes
病的
black.
原因
But this is
产生
not.
了出血。这个原则上，这个功德朱砂哈，它是不掉的，
This Gongda
而且
Zusha
永远都
doesn't
是
le-
亮
it
红
doesn't
亮红的，
it
一
doesn't
看就
drop.
心生喜悦，
It
而它不
actually
会
has
改
some
变颜色，
brightness,
这叫功
a
德朱砂。
redness.
如果
And
你
you
修
look
的
at it,
话
you
哈，
feel happy.
你的身体某部位有产生一个小小的功德
If
朱
you have
砂
one of such
啊，
spot,
我觉得，因为没有一个特别明确的记载，
Because
我觉得
there's-
太神奇了。
it is so
这首
miracle.
先，第一个先把握你这一生遇到最要命的事儿，你是大难不死，这
First
是
of
肯定
all,
得到
it
护
will
佑，
definitely protect
就
you.
是这样子
You
啊。
will have great
消灾
calamities.
避难的，
You
避
will
难
be
吉
safe
祥的。
for
对
sure.
对的，
哇，那太重要了。
That's
对
so important,
这个
Master.
就是佛菩萨给你点了个记号，
This is a
哦，
sign
将来能
and
够往生极乐
indications
世界的
by
记号。
Master
所以你
or
这
by
人一定要
Guanyin
被护佑，
Bodhisattva.
是
You will
吉
be
祥的意思，
protected.
是这样的。你
You
做
will
了
go
多
to
少好事
Pure
才能
Land.
产生这个功德朱
You
砂
need to
呀？
accumulate
还
a
有
lot
马
of
上照镜
merits
子
to get
我
it.
找找身上有没有哈。
You must
对
quickly
呀，
look
自
at
己
your
想长
body,
长不出来
whether you
呀。
have it. It's not something that will
不
grow.
是不是弄那个刺青哈，
对呀，
It
找
is
人刺
not
到
like
皮
a
肤上，
form
那
of
个
like you
那
just.
个图案啥，那个龙那
It
个
is
虫
not
的，
the fig.
哎，这
It
个
is
是
not
自
like
己
the
梦就
figure
点
that you
出来。
imprint
就
onto
是
your
菩
own
萨
body. No,
点的。
对，菩萨给你点那个吉祥痣，哦，这个就可好了。
this is
Oh,
actually
肯定有
something
的。
that's from Buddha or Bodhisattvas.
是吧？
原则上是，
It doesn't matter where it grows. It
比
is
如说你长在
auspicious.
前胸，
脸上、
Some
前
have it
胸
on the face, on the
手臂
face, on the
那都
arms.
是，那应该是大吉祥大
These
福
are great
还有打在肚子
auspiciousness.
上的。
也可以能
If
吃
you
好
have
东
it
西。
in your tummy, it is also
我怎么
good.
光惦着这个？
对，原则上功德朱砂长在每个位置都是很
都是
吉祥
吉
It
的。
doesn't matter where it
非常好。
grows. It is very auspicious.
对，
哎呀，
嗯，
太好了。
对，我们图片上有哈，哎，
So
看
we
看
have the
它
picture.
可能在某些部位，这个不一定的就长在那里，哎，长出来了，
It doesn't matter where is
非
it.
常亮
It
红
just
亮
grow
红的，为什
and
么
it's
叫朱
quite
砂
bright.
像朱砂那个色那么红。
It
啊
is
有一
quite
种
red.
药材或者矿物质哈，就叫朱砂，特别红。嗯， 长这个就有福了啊。
And when you have that, you'll be
但
auspicious.
是长越多越好嘛。
你很难长出来像满脸麻子一样的地方。
Now, it's not so easy to grow that.
那个不是朱砂了啊。通常哈，你能比如前胸有1、2个了不起了。
Usually, if your chest you have 2 or 3, it is very good already. You won't have many.
别贪求哈，你这个就是 说养了一只羊是养，养1000只也是养，这是两回事儿哈。这个能有1颗就已经是大
If you
富大
can
贵
have
了
one,
哈。
it's great
对。
auspiciousness.
所以我们这个修行有很多的改变的哈。
很多
There are a
网友
lot
都
of
说
change.
长了。
对，还有呢，就是说我们手上的5月开始
Some
隆
says
起啊。
that you
对
will have
5月
this.
隆起呢，你这几个
If
地
your
方啊，
palms,
我们把那个手宏观5月的那个手相图拿出来啊。
the 5月, we're going to
大家
take the
看看
pictures and look at it.
那
You
几个
have
该
little
长
bumps
的
on your
5
palm
月
is
是
actually
指
very
山
auspicious too. They are like
山
little
峦山的意
mountains.
思。
山包包。
对，在你的手上会长出5个山包来。哦，这就是富贵了，看
And that's great auspiciousness.
啊，不容易找哈，不容易找，慢慢找啊。手上的5月，脸上也有5月。
The face are also 5 auspicious mountains. So this is like if you have
这几个地
bulging
方
at this
1、2、3、
area,
4、5
like a
上山
little
大
bit
老
like a
虎
heel,
啊，这
that's
几个地
auspicious.
方那个肉包隆起，并且气色明亮红润
And
白
it's very bright
啊，
and it
明
is
亮
very
红润
rosy.
白黄啊，这就
fair
是非常好的。
These are all auspicious signs.
这时候就人家开始富贵。
And you will start to
对，
become
还
auspicious
分
and
你
have
这里富贵之后，
wealth
通常还能
and
看出来。
fortune.
如果我还能看出来，不是你能看出来哈，你的财富是好财富还是坏财富？
I will be able to
是贪污
tell
来的
if
钱
it's
还
a
是
good
正常挣
wealth,
来的钱？
positive
也能看
wealth,
出来，不光
or
富贵，怎么富
wealth
贵都是富
from
贵哈。
different
但是
sources.
好来的财
So
呢
some are
是
good
真富
source,
贵，
some are not so
坏
good
的财
source.
富会带来灾祸呀。
会
If
未
it's
来会
not
出现
from
问
good
题。
source,
对呀。
then
未
you
来
will
现在
cause
花钱
problems
方面
in
呢
the
是未来
future.
容易出问题。所以你的财来的不正的话呢，
So
希望你
if the
多做
wealth
些
that
功
you
德哈。
accumulate is
我
not
说
so
是
good,
真的哈，
I
今天我
think
说这个话，
I'm just
代表
telling
大慈
you.
大悲观世音菩萨说的啊。
I'm just
也说做
representing
功德。
Guanyin
师
to
傅以
tell
前
you
也有
this.
讲过，就是来路不正的，
You
比如
must
说
make sure that
赌
the
博来
wealth
的呀
is from
骗
proper source.
诈骗来的呀，这些
Don't
钱
have the
财
source of
真
wealth
的
is
一
through
分
cheat.
不要留，全都
No.
是要拿出来做
If
功德。
it's through cheating,
甚至
you
还
want to
再多
contribute
做。
and
这真
donate
说话
away
更爽快。
and do
其实说
charitable
的是对的。
act.
就是呀。
流来流去是祸害哈。
Otherwise, it
对
will bring
这个要把它
misfortune to
捐
your
出来
family. So you
还要
must
捐给
quickly
真正的慈善
donate
事
out
业
对。
才可以啊。
to
对
charitable
要不然会流
organizations.
成变成毒药啊。
Otherwise, they'll be like
所以我们
poisons.
这个修行之后这几天，我们会
So
甚至
after
会发生
cultivating,
很多
after
变化
these few
还有
days,
我们的
we will start to
刚才
change.
说，比如说嘴巴里有这种甘甜的甘露
For
感
example, we have
那么
this
还有早晨
sweetness.
起来，有些人因为有病，
For some
有
people,
各
when
种
they
各样
wake
的
up,
病，心脏
because they
病、
have
糖尿
some
病、
disease,
肾
maybe
炎
they
等
have
等的
kidney
肝病
disease, liver
那起来
disease,
之
or
后，这个
heart
嘴里又
disease,
干或者又臭
they。find that the mouth
啊，
is
很
really
多人其实
smelly.
觉得挺不
Actually,
好意
many
思的
people
哈。
feel
这
it
一闻，哇，
in
这
the
个嘴好
morning. They
臭啊。
smell their breath. They have very
对
bad，
这
breath
些
in the
都是内
morning.
脏有问题。
This
这
is
2天这
because
个
they
口
have
臭
some
也改变。
problems in the internal
不光是
organs.
口臭
But
改变，
after
口里
chanting,
那个
they
苦苦涩涩
realize
的
that they
感
start
觉，
to
舌苔
change.
后的感觉已经发生改变了。如果改变了，你往上写出来就好吧。
So if
有
you
个写
notice
信
the
给我啊。
change, do
还
write to
有
me to share your
更
stories.
厉害的是，收益比较大哈。如果你现在抽空就念，抽空就念，再念它个10天8天哈，一天念，好好念2个小时。
If you can
你
chant
身
for
上
2
原来的
hours
那
on
个
a day,
气味，每个人有自己的气味，
everybody
你知
have
道
a
吗？
towel
有的人
smell.
也有吧哈。就是你那个是山羊味儿什么味儿？好，开玩笑看，肯定是红枣味儿，猴味儿，对，是金丝猴味儿哈。每个人都有味道。
Every one
但
of
是你
us
身
have a
上这个
certain
味道
smell.
会变得自己觉得都喜欢自己
But
了。
you will start to
这
like
个味道
yourself.
变得香了。
It starts to
最
becomes
好的味是
it,
清香，
it becomes
就是荷
more
花
fragrant.
池的味道。这个就是你的心哈。
And when you have
无欲
that,
无求的状态，
you find that
就
your
会出现
heart,
那
you
样
have
的
no
清香的味
desire.
道就是这样的哈。
As
所以
simple
当
as
我们
that.
也每修一点，所以我们从肤色、内心的境界，但是可以闻得到、看得到，就是你身上的清香。
So as you
这个
continue
清
to
香
cultivate,
是任何香
you'll
水
be
所不能
able
代替
to
的。
you'll be able
虽
to
然很多
find
香
that
水也是
you
配的也是
actually
挺
have
厉害
this
的哈，
fragrance.
在喷一
Body
下之后真有那
you
种
will
香味儿
smells really
但
nice,
是
like
咱
a
们
certain
修来
type
的
of fragrance.
这个法界灵香呢，那种灵香的感觉是不一样的。
This is
让
something
你觉得
that's
闻得
not easy
特
to
别舒服
describe.
是那样的哈，是一种非常吉祥和健
It
康的
is a very
香气。当有
auspicious
了这样的香气的话，
type of
天
smell.
人通常就会给你撒点甘露啊，撒点花瓣。
And the divine
来
one will start to spread, to scatter some auspicious energies on you to bless you with it. Say, for example, you have some misfortune, but because of this, the misfortune actually eliminated. And if you're looking for a job at this point in time and going to invest now, everything will be very smooth sailing. You'll be full of auspiciousness. When your body has this fragrance, everything will be very auspicious. Evil spirits, well, if your body is fragrant, you will ward off evil spirits as well.
真正上好的沉香、檀香啊，过去还有龙涎香等等的这个正宗的香气呢，这些香是辟邪的，因为鬼邪之气呢。
The agarwood incense and the sandalwood incense, these will help to ward off evil spirits as well.
干个附体的人哈，严重附体的人，哎呀，那个臭啊！
I've met people who with spirits on their body. They really smells horrible. It's like garlic, a lot of garlic smells. You want to observe that. You know that the person didn't eat garlic, but if you look at the eyes, it's a bit dark around the eyes. It may be possessed. Well, I just share with you because you are lucky. That's why you get to hear this. I took a long time to learn this. So in the process of our cultivations, we will have very good feelings. Some share with me that a dog didn't want, was very painful, had constipation.
那个兽医呢，现在兽医叫什么名字？另外一种称呼，就狗医生呢，也不能叫狗医生，叫啥呢？这医生呢，医生呢正好度假去了。
And the vet actually went on holidays, and who can find a suitable vet?
走路都走不动。这两天跟着念佛哈，
And after chanting for 2 days,
特别精神。
the dogs recovered, becomes better.
趴那哈哈，就特别开心，就是这狗都会被度化。
So even dogs can be transformed.
真的是这样子哈，那之前我们还养过小
And
兔子。
that's why all beings have
小兔子
affinities.
不太会养。
In the past, we tried to rear rabbits, but we are not very good at it. But I'm not sure why the rabbits keeps dropping its hair.
掉一撮一撮的，那怎么办呢？
So what can we do?
我没替它念佛。
I didn't chant for the rabbits,
加
but I gave the rabbits some blessed
用
water.
与观世音菩萨相关的6字大明咒。
And I used the 6 syllables mantra and I chant on
嘴
it.
喝了扑喷上去。
And I
抹一
just
抹抹一抹
try to give
喷了
some.
3次，一
I
天
try
喷1
to.
次就好了。
I spray
这些都是
onto
灵
the
验的
rabbits
你
for
再
3
试一试
times, and the
动
rabbits
物的病比人的
recovered.
病难治，因为人这个狡猾聪明是吧？说得病
Actually,
就
it's
管
much
不
easier
好
to
区分
heal animals
那
than
小
humans
动物小狗
because animals
比较
have
直
less desire,
直白
more straightforward, so
虽然
it's
聪明
easier
但
to
是直
cure
白
them.
不狡猾，所以他的病也容易好。对，你看昨天咱们那小朋友还有个受伤的小哥哥。
Yesterday, remember the stories about
Yeah,
the little boy who saved a
听着
dove?
师傅的这个念佛声音就都好了，多吉祥啊！
Yes, the dove, the pigeons actually
对，很多的好事
recovered
慢慢都
after
会生出
listening
来
to
的哈
Master's
就是说
chanting.
修行之后，我们的身体的感受觉受，
So after
有些
chanting,
感受觉受是
we
能感
change.
觉到的。
we can
比如
sense
说
it.
在这个念佛班之前呢，
Say, for
那个
example,
人
before
手
the
脚
chanting
冷冰
class,
冷
you may
这
have
这两
the
天你一看
coldness
你这
in
个
your palms and
不
your
自觉地
feet.
哎怎么手脚
But
变
after
温暖了
chanting, you realize that your palms actually
我
warms
觉
up.
得手脚心温暖一点，比那个冷一点好。
I think it's
比如
good
说
that your
手
palms
手
is
掌
warm.
手
It's
手掌
definitely
心
better
手脚
than
心脚掌
coldness
心温暖一点的话，就代表你能量还是足的。
because it represents
当
that
尤
you
其是
have
手
enough
心
energy,
发冰的时候，你的
especially
肚子呢
if
也是冰冷。如果吃
your
的东西
palms
呢
is very
特别容易
cold.
拉肚子，
it just means
就
that your
存不住能量
stomach
聚不住气。
is very cold.
那聚不住
It
气的
cannot
话就
gather
很
energy.
不好。
It is
就是
not
容
good
易
because
破财，
it cannot gather
不容易
energy.
发财。
It's difficult for you
聚不
to
住
be
气的人还努力
wealthy.
工作，他努力工作就是像他的肚子
But
一样，
you may be
吃
working
多少
hard,
拉多少。
but then
都排着
you will just
就
get rid
存不
of
住
your
钱。
wealth will just like water
好玩
flows
吧？
away.
要不要改变呢？
So do you
念
want to
佛
change that?
啊，
You
对
have
你
to
学
start
了之后你
chanting.
抽空就念，一天念
After
1、2
you
个小
learn,
时。
you should
哎，
try
手
to
脚
learn
发
how
生
to
了改
chant
变哈。
for
但是
an
改
hour
变
or
最
two
快
on a
的
daily
哈，
basis.
手掌和肚子的温度是走八卦，
Actually, the
这
fastest
个
to warm
这个
your
温度变
palms
化是最
and
快的。但
the
是怎
feet
样
is
算呢？
actually
用
by
30
practicing energy
个小
bhakwa.
时为基础来算。
You need at least
一天走1
30
个小时，
hours. So if you
30天之
practice
后，
for an hour a day,
你
you
看你
need to
的
practice
手
for
掌
30
就变
days.
温暖了。
And you can start to see your
你手掌
palms
变温暖之
to
后，
change
你才
after
容易
that.
发财，
It is only when your
才容
palms
易
is
聚住
warm,
气，
then you'll be able to
才容易
gather
成
wealth.
就事业。
Then you'll be able to
嗯。
gather your
那
wealth
我
and then
说
have
到这么多
successful
只是提
career.
醒啊，方方
I'm
面面的
sharing
变
so
化。
many with you
嗯，
is as a
我们
form
看网友
of
还有
reminder.
哪一些那种感受和变化的？我看看大家的留
Let me
言
see if
哈。
we have any other sharing.
嗯，
数功德朱砂的最多，大家都在显摆，
对，
好骄傲。
有安娜网友她分享说，早上起来发现自己舌头白白的一层厚厚的，就是那个
Anna
舌苔
shares
呀，
that
已经
when she
舌苔厚。
wakes up, the
Mm.
tongue was
这个也
full of
非
the
常好。
white, a layer
啊，
of
非常
white.
好。
没有了，
But
啊
that
就变好
disappears.
了。
有了，
它那
对
个
啊啊，
白白的
这是
舌苔没有
说话说不清楚啊。
啊，
你看 Lucy 说，我家3只狗宝宝也和我
Lucy
一起怎么
shared
念
that
佛，
the three doggies
真
at
的
home
万
chant
物都是
together
有
with
灵的，
masters.
他知道在念佛。
Indeed,
啊，
they know that
你
you are
看在
chanting.
韩国有一个
In
出家师
Korea,
傅哈，
there is
他
a
每天在
monk.
那礼佛
Every
磕
day
头，
he
那个狗
prostrate
跟着一起
to
磕头。
Buddha and
啊，
Bodhisattvas,
还有一位
and the
女
dogs
士家里
follow
养那个
suit.
小狗宝宝，就跟着他很小的小狗，跟着他一起礼佛，在那拜垫上就跪，那狗跟着做，好玩吧？啊，
It's very
这都
interesting
是
because
聪明的
dogs
狗
actually
啊。
follows their owner to prostrate as well.
哎，咱们说件俗气的事儿哈。我
好，
刚才讲到，比如说你修一段时间之后，
Just now
就
I
是你的
mentioned
身
that
体上变得有
after
香味之后，
practicing for
除了
a
健
period
康
of
之外
time,
哈，会不会
you
增加
have
魅
a
力呢？
fragrance,
增
right?
加
Your
魅
body
力，增
smells
加人
good.
缘儿，
So what happens? You becomes
对，人见人爱。
you
对，
become
所以有些人
someone
就
that
是说，
people
叫人
like.
很喜欢，男女老少都喜
There are
欢。
some people you
其
look
实
at
除
them,
了他
everybody
长相
likes
之外
them.
还有就是他身上的一种味道。
Sometimes it's
但
not
被
just
吸引
the
的人
look.
其实自己，
There is certain
因为你
charisma
被
of the
吸引是
person
综合的这些信
because
息，
you're
长
attracted by
相、
that
声
person.
音、
Maybe
气
it's
味儿合在
voice,
一起，你
maybe
就
smell.
乐意靠近
It's
他，
an
乐意
overall.
接近他。
对，
哎
You don't want to
其
come
中
near
有
to
一
the
项是
person.
气味。
One of
啊，
it is
国外做过
actually the
实验，
smell.
但是美国人做的，
I
他
think
们
there's
就是
some
说，
studies done in the West. I
彼
think
此
it's
拿
done by
着上衣
Americans.
的一个内衣。
So they bring
我们
like
说的
a.
很正经的节目哈，做科学实验。
They did
哎，
some
这边
studies.
有10个男的，10个女
There's
的，
10
互相
men and 10
其
women.
实谁也不知道，但是只是他们有
They
个
do
编
not
号，
know each
中
other.
间有
It's
裁判的
just
人看着
some
那个编
index
号，
number.
哎，哪个味道你是喜欢
So
的，
they have
是
this
吧？
inner garments
哎，
and ask them to
喜
smell
欢之
and
后
see
见了
which
面
one
时
you
候那
like.
样子也可能也，
And
就可
then
能
when they
也
look
喜
at the
欢，
person, it's
这个
likely
比例
that
已经
they
提
like
高了
that
5
person
成，就光一
Higher
个气味
chance
的本身啊，所以呢，
just by
哎，我
smell.
们中国有一句那种老话，叫是什么
臭味相投。
臭味相投，
So there is this
这
saying,
个臭不是
Chinese
臭，
saying
气
that
味相投啊。
you
应该
like
是叫
the
气味相
person
投。
of the
对
same
对，
of the same
气味相
smell.
投的人就能够在一起聊得
Then
来。
you'll be able
容易
to
在一起
be
交
good
流。
friends
哎，
and you'll be
其实有很多
able
时候，人因为毕竟不是狗
to
哈，
become
但是呢，其实很重要。
to become good
可
friends.
这人气味，
So it's
我
actually
很
very
喜欢。
important. You
但
actually
是
like
你
the
在说
person's
喜欢的时候，
smell.
你说的都是综合的，比如这人长得好呀，哎，有文雅呀，懂礼貌啊，啊，对我好啊，你说的是综合的情况来决定的有好感，是吧？事实是这样子，但是如果蒙上双眼说，这里比如说你是个女的，这里有10
Say
个男的
if
从这儿
you
路
are
过，
a
都慢
girl
慢走过的时候，
and there are
你喜
10
欢
men
第
in
几个？
front,
过来
which
说
one do you
第一
like?
个人走过，第2个人走过，你肯定会有1、2个气味是你喜欢的，
There'll be one or two smell that you
有几个
like.
气味你绝对不喜欢。
There'll be some smell that you you
对还有
absolutely
真受
not
不了
like, or you cannot stand.
如果这个气味受不了，请你睁开眼睛看一下真人长相，你也受不了。
If you don't like the smell, you open your eyes. You will not like the person look as well.
闻香识人呐。
你接着说吧，你别拿一下放一下，接着，我觉得你 你有话多说一点。
对，尤其是这个男女异性之间嘛，对吧？这
Especially
个
like
气味
life
相投很
partners
重
or
要
you're looking for your
你要
life
受不了
partner,
它的味
the
道的话，
smell is so
哎呀
important.
啥都受不了。
If you
就
don't
是
like his smell, you will
那
not
个
like
初恋的
him.
时候有没有说有说正经一点啊？你还不要
Let's
笑。
be
就
serious,
是
don't
你
laugh.
有没有感觉
Do
这
you
个
feel
男人
that
这个气味我
that
还是喜
person,
欢的？
the smell
对
is
要不
something
怎
that
么
you
能刚
like
开
or
相
not?
恋呢？
是吧？
是，
哎，
我宿
Yes,
舍有一个
indeed.
同学哈，
In my
对他
hostel,
到
I
那
have a
个时候都是
friend
初恋，然后她那个
because
男
all
朋
is a
友
first
也
love
是很喜欢她的味道
and，
然后
you
他就
like
美
the
滋滋的哈，晚上俩人约会回来了
like the
然后回来宿
boyfriends
舍就
because
跟
of
我
the
们女
smell
生说嘛，就
and
说
they will share
哎
with
呀
us,
人家老
say
强
that,
说我的头发可香
well,
了，
my
我
the,
们就
my
过去闻
boyfriend
这
said
啥不就是头油味儿吗？
my boyfriend said my hair
我
smells
们
really
闻
good
不出来那
and
种
our
香，
friend
但
smelled
是
her
人家
hair
恋人之
and
间
said
就
that
闻
is
着，哎
just
呦天
normal
哪，
hair
就是那
smell.
种
What do you
这
mean?
是气味相投啊。
Yes,
他俩
because
他
the
就会喜
boyfriend
欢他那
actually
个味儿。
likes her hair smell
对，
and that's
是
why
这
they
样
are
的。
they are
我们觉得像
together.
烤烧饼似的，有啥好的？
对是。
就喜欢烧饼。
就实际上就是老超就喜欢这一款头油味儿。
人家闻出来可不是头油味儿，那是法界清香，哇塞，那可不一样了，
对，他俩
天女的
是闻的。
香味儿。
对，情人眼里出西施嘛。
是，
他喜欢
So
这个味道，
indeed,
他觉得
because
这
the
个味道
lover
是
will
我
see
喜
everything
欢
good in the other
因为所
person,
以我喜欢这个人，
and that's
就
why
是
you
这样。
like that
所以
person.
味道很重要。
That's why
所以当我
smell
们
is
修出
very
那个清
important.
香的味道来之
So
后，
as we
我们的魅力
cultivate,
大
we
增，对不
cultivate
对？
really nice
还为
smell.
什么会做齐
Will we
天大
become
圣啊？
attractive?
就剩不下你了，大家都会很喜欢你，对不对？你会选择，哎，这个男朋友我要了啊，有选择性的恋爱，对不对？这多好啊！
对，
Then you
那
will
你
have
没有
more
嗅到那个
choices.
清香的时候，比如说你是女生哈，
So
男
if
的
you are a
一
lady
闻这味儿，妖
and
怪
you
就
never
跑了
cultivate,
是吧？
so the
这
guy
惨
come
了
near you and smell and say, "Oh,
我
I
已
don't
经
like the
跑
smell."
了啊，鬼呀鬼来啦，妈呀，坏了，哎，对吧？所以要修，
That's why it's
修出一个
important to cultivate.
修出一种人见人爱的清香来。
Cultivate
啊
to
当
be
然你不是
someone
说
that
那我就交
everyone's
多少
love
什
to
么
be
男女
with
朋友
you.
不是这样的，反而你是有一个非常清净的心，
对，
有那
You
个
have
清
a
净的
very
那
pure
个精
heart
神
and
状态
cleansed heart.
你才会具有那样清净的那种清香。
是。
啊
You need
随
to
之
have
而
your
生
pure
的
mind
而且这种
in
香
order
不
to
是
have
说
that.
通过香水啊什么
And
那
this
种
is
不
not
是
something,
去
the,
覆盖
the
掉
fragrance is
根
not
本
like
不行
something
那
true.
种熏的人翻跟头都。
对，是
Perfume is not.
翻跟头，
我又听懂了，
It's
就是
not so
猴哥的
intense
世
like
界
perfume.
这是最多是倒下来吧，他还要翻一圈儿。
猴哥，
被
你
熏的
熏得受不了。
真的对，就那个真的是你内心就是全身心一起往外冒的香，才是那个真的好香哈。
不是全身心一起冒香，其实你在那个，就是你没那个境界，你有你身上的味道。但
Actually,
普通人
everyone
来
have
说
a
的话呢
certain peculiar
普通人
smell.
来说的话，当你的内在那种焦
But
躁，
I
比如
think
说
that
肾脏、心脏、肝脏出了
internally,
问题之后，你身
if
上的
there's
味道
some
啊
problems with your
不吸引
liver,
人。
with your
就成
kidney,
病气了。
you will
因为
not
它
be
是病气
attractive
大家一闻
because the smell
你也
is
说不出
type
咋了，
of
讨厌，
illness smell. People start
反
to
感，
be
躲避。
distract, will be
啊，唯恐
affected,
躲避
and
不
they don't
及
like it,
啊，
and they want
有
to
会躲
avoid
避的。其实这人就是先天的一种自我保护能力，
because
知道吗
that's a way of
他觉得这种
self-protection.
这种味道就是传染病，或
They
者
feel
有
like
病。
this smell is a
对我是
type
不
of
利的。
disease.
如果想
and
去
they
跟对
don't
方
like
恋
it.
爱的这种关系的时候，这个味儿很刺激
In
你
a
不
couple
好的，
relationship, if they
其实
find
是
that
病态的味道。
对，
the other partner has a
你比如
smell
说
that's very
糖尿病，
peculiar, and they
其
want to
实
avoid,
我
that
们
is
稍稍
not
有点
good.
敏感一点，一闻
糖味儿
你，不用再说了，就一股糖味儿，
焦糖味儿。
绝对是，就是糖味儿一出来，那个糖味儿不是你想吃的那个糖，你那个糖味儿里头带一点尿味儿，这叫糖尿病
尿。酸
对，所以你闻那个味儿，你能受得了吗？
受不了。
就像在公共厕所闻那个味道，你肯
For
定
people
不喜
with
欢嘛
diabetes, they
有
also
几
have
个
a
人
certain
有几个
smell.
女的到了
You will
厕所
want to
舔墙壁
avoid
的
the person
没
because
有
of the
吧
smell.
男的也没有啊。还有一种人就是他那个可能肺
And
不
for
好
some
气管不
people-
好的那种，完了可能就呼出来那个味道，那种烟味儿啊还是什么味儿，
So they may
反正
smell
就是
like
也是
smoke.
那样子的，就受不了。尤其是以前
对
早年吸烟的那种哈，
Especially
真的
those
是
who
往
are
外
chain
冒的
smoker.
对
从毛孔往外冒。
对，
You
所
when
以
you
光
come
修
close to
光一
them,
个味道
you can smell, you can
你
actually
获得了
smell
健
the
康 之后
smoke.
还增加魅力。
是
这种魅力并不是说你千万我再重复
Actually,
一
after
次，并不是
cultivations,
说我那
you
我
will
一下招了
increase your
多少
charisma.
好像好色类的这样的
Well,
朋友
this
不
our
是
charisma
而
is
是人这种
it
人
make you
缘
very
人气
pleasing
对
to
人
others,
缘人气，
人家乐意和你
and
交
you will
往，
have
对不对？
more
有些
friends
人
because
一
people
靠
would like
近
to
那味道
interact
就
with
躲
you.
得离远点儿，有的人就乐意亲近，是不是啊？对，他一定要有他吸引人的若
So
干
there's
项
certain
条件，但是
attractiveness.
其中有一项是他身上的味道。
One is the person's
哎
smell.
说到这个，我想起来有一首流行歌曲，很多年前，你身
味道
上的味道。
白袜
像
子
I
你
remember
的
that
这样
there's
的
this
白袜
songs,
哦，闻袜子味道，那更可恨
the
了。
songs
就是
that
白袜子的
smell.
味道
哎呦，
What
这人
smell is
太重
that?
口味了。
会不会
That
是
is
哦
actually
所
that
以
song
情
is
人节
describing
白袜
the
子味道
lover,
现在都
the
回忆
type
至
of
今
white
那是
sock
很美的
smell.
味道，
哇，
那是爱的味道。
哎呀，
That's the love,
前空翻了吧
the smell of
后空
love.
翻了
哦，怪不得屎壳郎吞那个驴粪球在那滚着跑哈，这回可淘到宝了。他就喜欢这一口。
就是什么
So
叫
that
气味
is
相
a
投嘛
lover's style smell. So this Chinese songs, the name is called smell, and it's about the girlfriend cannot forget the boyfriend's smell, and the smell is actually the white socks.
还有增加很多人气。哎，当我人气好了，
So
人缘多了
when
之
you
后，
have-
我还能忧郁吗？
So
不
what
可能
happens
啊
when you
这
have
个哪大家都是喜欢我的？
when people
我就
like
心
you?
生快乐，
Will
对
you
不对？
have
你就
depression?
拿孩子上学来
No.
说，说我那儿
When
一个
you're
好朋友都没有
attractive, you have many
大家都孤
friends.
立我，孩
You
子
will not
根
feel
本都
like
不想上
you
学
will not
是
be
的。
那
when
你
you're
成年人你在
attractive.
公司
You
工
have
作，大
many
家都讨
friends,
厌你，
so
你能愉快吗？
you'll
肯
be
定不
you'll
愉
be
快
happy all the
是
time.
我不干了，是不是啊？干嘛大家都
Say
白眼
even
都
at
躲着我
work
走路？
不开心
Your
对
colleagues
呀
like you.
所以光除了说你的心理上不健康，其实你身体本身就不健康，啊，所以都好好修吧。
And that's why it's
这里面的
important to
妙在哪
cultivate.
非常奇妙。
There are a
知道吗
lot of
我
miracles
想多奇
or
妙，
magical
以后多
in
听
it.
我的课。
So you
啊
want to
里面
know
会
how
透
magical
露
it
引
is?
导着大家
You must
走向
try to
更奇妙的那
listen
种状态。
to my
不是我自己多奇
broadcast.
妙，是大家你来一起体验。
It is
像
for
我刚
all
才
of
讲
you
的这
to
些东
come
西
and
每个人你的
enjoy.
气味都发生了改变。
And I'm sure everyone, your
这个气味
smells
改变。
changed.
我再说的更恶心一点哈，是健康问题，就是连小便的气味和大便的气味都改变。你当你的
Even the smell
当
of
你
your
的内脏
urine
不健康的时
and
候，
emotions
这
will
两
change
便
as
台的这
well.
个味道，都代表着病症。
If your internal
啊，所
organs
以
is
有
not
些医
well,
生就是
you
就
will
能看
find
到
that
你
the
的
motion that you
排
pass
便
or
的
the
这种
urine
形
that you
状
pass
颜
is
色
very
味道
smelly.
就能猜出你内在有
Actually,
什
a
么
very
病。
good doctors,
我们
just
这
by
说的
looking
科
at the
学一些
color
啊
of your
对
motions,
连这些
you'll
味
be
道都
able
改
to
变。
tell your
而且你
health
皮肤会改
conditions.
变，眼神啊，头
Not
发的
only
亮
that,
度
your
都会发生
skin
改变。
conditions will change.
还有
Even your hair will
你袜子
change,
的味道，
including
就是
the
你脚的
smell
味
of
道
your socks
其实已
will
经
change.
立刻啊，修上1个月，
After
转
1 month
成
of
广东
practice,
白云猪脚
immediately
啊，
you will
是不是啊
find that the smell
这个
changed.
修上3年，
After
就成
3
赤脚大
years
仙，
of
修8
cultivations,
年
you become
就
better.
像那个大
And
魔祖
after
师
8
偷一只
years
鞋子，因为那只鞋子被别人抢跑了，味道太香了。
The fragrance will be so attractive that even if you throw your shoes, people will want to get
那
it.
大师为什么丢了一只鞋啊？
啊，
所以叫织履归西呀。听
对
说这个词吗？
是穿着一只鞋回来。
他拿着一个禅杖，挑着一只鞋走了。他哪穿着一只鞋啊？因为有一只鞋找不着了，被人偷跑了，所以挑着一只鞋走了。哎，是这样子的。哎，那走的话不是正常走路，就踩着竹竿儿在空中飞，比西方的巫婆还厉害。巫婆骑婆抓了个大扫把飞，是不是啊？
对
人家踩这个。
Well, the witch in the West, they need to have a broom. But for this,
慢慢就做
this
到了
cultivator,
没修
he
到那
just
一
need to
步
have a
不要
stick,
趴着竹竿儿
and
上
he
飞
can fly
可以
with
趴
a
在床垫
stick,
上飞。
2只鞋都要
even
穿
better
好
than the witch from the West.
对对对，所以会有很多的改变。
So
哈
you will notice
对
a lot of
还有走路有
change.
没有轻松啊？那个
And the
腿
other thing is
啊
that you
如果再
find
加
that
上
your
我给你
pace is
教
a
的那
little
个
bit
泡脚
more
方啊
light-hearted.
多少效果就好了。
没错，
哎，对了，所以呢，哎呀，我一高兴，我说了这么多。
I think I'm
就是
happy I share so
成为
much with
修
you.
行觉受的现象，这我只说了1%哦。
I only say
修行觉
1%.
受的这些
The
现象啊
feelings, the good
只说了这
feelings
么
that
一
you
点
get from
啊
cultivations.
多着呢。
So there are a
一切都会
lot
发生
more.
改变。
Everything
我
will
在修行
change.
过程之中，
In the
光20
process
岁
of
到
my
23岁期
cultivations,
间，我至少脱了3层皮。
I think from
皮肤
20 to
它不脱，
23
像
years
蛇一
old,
样
my
脱皮，
skin
一
actually
层层的拽，
it,
不知道怎么
it
弄它
start
就脱
to
皮。
it actually start to
脱胎
drop.
换骨啊！
I drop at least 3 times.
你说的这个词好像很恰当，至少有3次哈。
At
脱胎
least
换
3
骨
times. I transformed.
你会觉得很
太神奇了哈。
很奇迹
You
的。
find that it's like a
一开始
miracle,
我觉得这是一种病态。
unbelievable.
当时师傅说，这是不但不是病态，你是超级康复的、起死回生的。
And when I tell my masters that my skin dropped, my master says that this is not a form of illness, it is a transformation.
太好了，看我们师傅多厉害，就得跟着师傅修啊。
So we must follow masters to continue
是吧？
our
可能我们
cultivations.
很多同学说，今天就脱给你看哈，就可能就会有皮儿脱哈，但是别追求，它是自然发生的，就是哎，
So this
这皮
happens
都白了
naturally.
一层那个，
So
你
it
觉得
is
底下
like
都是
shedding
气泡
one's mortal
轻轻一接
body.
就掉了一层薄薄的，就好像是竹子中间那个芯儿那个能小
一层膜儿似的。
薄膜，像贴在笛子上那个薄膜也那么薄，啊，好像风一吹就飞起来那种薄薄
And
的
the
那个
type
皮儿啊。
of skin
就是
is
这个很
very
重要的
light.
但一般
very
人类
thin.
不是蛇类不脱皮的，对不对？
But normally humans, we don't have this,
所以
we don't
成仙
shed
了才会
our
脱皮
skins, not
脱皮
like
了才会
snake.
成仙。
But I guess it is a
那
process of
这成仙的话，
becoming a
就得
divine one.
连肉皮都给脱了，对不对？
那真叫脱胎换骨了，
啊，那就是根
不
本就是
肉胎了哈
关。键你看不见我了，我在那飘你也看不见呐，像海蜇一样飘在空中。
化
是吧
身无量。哎呀，感恩师傅，修行有这么多的神
Thank you,
奇啊
masters, for
美
sharing
妙
with us so many
很奇妙
magical
就我说到这里的时候，
encounter we
我
can
们今
have
天
as
参
we
与的所有的
cultivate.
网友朋友啊，你在跟着一起。
I think all that
其实
join
我
us
当
today,
讲的之前我就说，
when I say it
哎
before,
这是菩萨启发我说的啊。
because
你
Guanyin
听到的人，你会
Bodhisattva
得到这种
has
境界和
asked
状
me
态。
to share this with you.
你没
And
有
if
病
you hear
收
that,
到
you will receive it.
啊
Thank you,
你没
Master.
有灾难，
You will be
收
free
到
from
好
calamities.
你长命百岁，
You will
收
gain
到
一
longevities.
切吉祥，
You will gain
收到
天天
auspiciousness.
幸福。
You'll be happy every
明
day.
天
Tomorrow,
我们接着讲，
we meet
大
again.
家再见了。
Thank
哎
you
学真
还先别
学真
再见，
还有事儿哈
师傅，对，
来吧来
No,
吧来吧
masters, we have
还得
something
最
to
后
还有重要
share.
的事儿哈。
还得提醒我们亲爱
I
的
just
网友
want to
哈
remind
我
our
们明
internet
天就是这
friends
个班即
is
将
that
圆满的
tomorrow
一
is a
天了
successful
那么
completion day.
在这个期间呢，感
And
恩
during
师
this
傅给我
time,
们开
we
放
just want
观音
to
菩萨
thank
保
masters
保佑我这
for
个灯
allowing
啊
us
吉
to
祥灯啊
offer
哈
lights
对，那么今
at
天、明
for
天最后2
seeking
天，让我们
masters
抓紧这个时
for
间哈，
seeking
所
Guanyin
愿皆
Bodhisattva's
得呀，
blessings.
跟师傅来
So we
祈
have
跟师
2
傅
more
跟菩
days
萨来祈
to
求
offer
我们心
lights
中的心
before
愿
the Guanyin
得到师
Bodhisattvas
傅跟
to
菩萨的
have
加持
our
祝
wish
福
fulfilled,
非常非
to
常的
receive
重
the
要
blessings from
这个
Guanyin
灯都是非
Bodhisattvas
常
as
优
well
惠的，
as
声很
masters.
慈悲，每个人都
Masters
负
is
担
so
得起的
compassionate.
一盏
The
灯一个心
offering,
愿
the
让我
it
们
is very
能够吉祥
it is
安康。
very
那么还有呢，就是我
affordable.
们在后天的时候呢
And，the
就
other thing I
要
want to announce is that 2 days
推
later,
出
we
我们制
will
作好的金菩提
we
宗师
have
讲解《观无
produced
量寿佛经》
the
了。
Sutra
那么
of
到明天
Contemplation.
晚上啊，那就是最后的赞助的截止日期了。
So
所以也请
tomorrow
所有
night
的
is
网
the
友朋友们
last
哈，跟你们的亲
night
朋
is the
好友
last
讲
day
一下
that we can
真的是要
actually
传播佛
contribute.
法
We
积
can
功累
actually
德呀，
accumulate
到无数
merits
房的
by
网站
sponsoring
去
the
赞助
Sutra of
佛说观无
Contemplations.
量寿佛经
You
啊
can go
那
to
么
Yushu Home to
到时候
do
我们
your
会以视
sponsor.
频、音频，还有
And
文
we
字
will
哎呀
have
方方面面
words,
在各
we
个
will
平台都
have
会去广传
we
的
will have
会让
audio,
无
we will
无
have
数无量
visual
的人受益
to
于这
spread
一
the
部经书
Sutra
的
of
讲解哈
Contemplations
所以我们
so
一
that
份
more
功德
can
都
benefit
是
from
万分
this.
的回报。
So
那么这个
every
也是几乎所有人
everyone's
所有人家都负担
contributions
得
or
起的
sponsor,
108
you will
美
gain
金
immeasurable
一份赞
merits
助
from it.
啊，你的一份功德一定能够帮到很多人，
And
自己更
through
会受
your
益无穷。
对，
感恩师父。
kind
为将来
sponsorship,
哈，
it will
为
bring
我们的
merits
一
to
个祖先
yourself and to
还为我
more.
们自己哈得到大慈大悲啊，西方三圣阿弥陀佛两尊菩萨啊，随时对我们的关照。
Through our
爱护啊
sponsorships, we'll
那
be
我们
able to be
未来
blessed
每
by
一个人
Amitabha
啊100
Buddha
年以后总有
and
一
the
个归
Bodhisattvas,
去的家，
because
那
we
个
will
家在
have a
哪里
place
呢？
to go
要么
when
在
we
下面，
pass
要么在
on.
上面。
Well,
但
our
是
home
普
is
通成为
either
人的时候，
here
一般
or up
还是
there.
来自于下
But
面。
most of the
但
time,
是跟
we as humans will go back to the lower realms. But because now you have cultivated with me, you will know that all who make offerings or all who sponsor to propagate Amitabha Buddha's this contemplation, the Sutra of Contemplation. This is so auspicious. The future, first, you will not go to the lower realms. And secondly, I feel that 99% Amitabha Buddhas will come and guide you and lead you to the Western Pure Lands.
收到。
That's so auspicious. You may say that, well, I don't want to die. I'm not asking to die. But I know, but eventually all of us will die one day. You already get your registration done to go to the Western Pure Land. And over there, those who have the passport to the Western Pure Land, do you think you'll be auspicious on earth? Yes, you will be auspicious. You'll be blessed. So if in the future you're going to attain Buddhahood, will you have calamities now in this current life? No, you will not. You will gain great wealth. You will gain great ease in this lifetime. So you will have auspiciousness.
讲完了哈，好的，好的，好，那再一次祝福大家。
So once again, wishing all health and longevity. May our wishes come true. May your family be saved and happy. Tomorrow we will have more exciting content. Thank you all.
我与您相遇，小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与您相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。因为有了你，生命变得更坚定，不忧忧因为有了你，日子不再有哭泣，不再有恐惧。我快乐了，我快乐了，我健康了，我健康了，我幸福了，我幸福了，我美丽了，我美丽了。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与您相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧